Hi students, welcome to Infinity Learn by Sri Chaitanya, where we are here today to discuss the paper solutions for your Grand Test 7 of your All India Test series. So I'll be discussing the physics part, and let's see what this paper has in store for us. First up, it says that the logic gate circuit has two inputs A and B and output Y. Voltage waveforms are given of A, B and Y respectively. So whenever we have been given like this, we need to try to construct a truth table out of this. So let's draw this truth table out here. Let's draw this out. This is A, this is B, and this would be the output Y over here. In the first case, we see that A and B both have low voltage, which means both are 0. And at 0, 0, we see even the output is 0. Next up, we see that A also has a high potential, B also has a high potential, which means the inputs are 1 and 1. And at that time, even the output is equal to 1. Then we come to the next part where B is positive, B has a high value, so B is 1. But A is 0, so the output we see over there is again 0. Next point is over here when A is 1 and B is 0, we see that the output again is 0. So this, as you can see, it's only when both of them are 1 that you get a value of 1, everywhere else you get 0. So this is the truth table of an AND gate, and this is the output representation of the AND gate. Next, a particular TV station, the TV transmission tower has a height of 100 meter. To triple its coverage, height of the tower should be increased to. So we know the relation for the height of the tower related to its range. It's given by D is equal to root over of 2RH, where R refers to the radius of the earth and H refers to the height of the tower. Now that means that H is proportional to D square. Now I want to triple the coverage. That means I want to make D into 3D, which means my H then in that case has to become 3 square. So if we do it in this form, that H1 by H2 is equal to D1 by D2, right? D1 square by D2 square. So I want that D2 by D1 should be equal, so D2 should be equal to 3D1. So that would make this as 1 by 9. So my new tower height should be equal to 900 meter. Because originally it was 100 meter, now it should be 100 into 9, 900 meters. The next question says that an electron of mass m, initial velocity v, v naught I cap, v naught greater than 0 is moving in an electric field E equal to minus E naught I cap. E naught is a constant. At t equal to 0, de Broglie wavelength, lambda naught is h by mv naught, then its de Broglie wavelength after time t is going to be. So since this electron is in the electric field, it's going to be accelerated, and because it's accelerated, its speed is changing, its momentum is changing, and hence de Broglie wavelength will change. Now first up, we find the force acting on it, that is equal to E into E naught. You'll see this I cap, both of them are in I cap direction, so you can just do with regards to the force in the I cap direction. We don't bother about it. We know it's going to act in the same direction as the speed. Also, you might have got the negative sign. V was in the positive direction, electric field was in the opposite direction. But since it's an electron with a negative charge, the force will also be in the direction of V naught. So we don't worry about those I caps for now. Our acceleration then becomes E naught divided by m. Now, by the Newton's laws, Newton's equations of motion, we know V is equal to U plus AT. So our new speed V dash would be equal to our original speed, which was V naught plus A we got as E naught T divided by m. That is our new velocity over here. Then it says that the de Broglie wavelength, we need to find de Broglie wavelength. New de Broglie wavelength lambda dash is equal to h by mv dash, which, as you can see, h by mv naught was lambda naught. We have to represent it in terms of lambda naught. So first we put in that value of v dash, h by m into v naught plus E naught t by m. Now from here we take a v naught out common. That gives me h by mv naught into 1 by 1 plus E naught t divided by mv naught. h by mv naught is just equal to lambda naught. So that makes our correct option as option 4 over here. Next, we move ahead over here, which is what is the half-life period of a radioactive material if its activity drops to 1/16th of its initial value in 30 years. So we know that the drop in activity, or rather A by whatever A naught is equal to half into T to the power whatever is the half-life, right? This was our relation for the activity. Now it says that the activity drops to 1/16th. So 1/16th is equal to half to the power T divided by, we need to find the half-life. So the T's value is given to us. T value is provided as 30 years. So we can just straight away put that in here. 30 divided by tau half, which is the half-life. We need to find that half-life value. If you compare, 1/16 can be written as 1/2 to the power 4. That is equal to half to the power 30 by tau half, which means 30 by tau half is equal to 4. So tau half, that is a half-life, is just 30 divided by 4, that is 7.5 years. So correct option is option 3. Next question, a beam of light traveling along x-axis is described by the electric field. Ey is 900 sine omega t minus x by c. The ratio of electric force to magnetic force on a charge q moving along y-axis with the speed 3 into 10 to the power 7 meters per second is, these would be in powers, 3 into 10 to the power 8, this would also be in power. But what would be the ratio of the electric force to the magnetic force? Now the electric force is given by q into E naught, and the magnetic force is given by qv into b naught, right? So you can cancel out the q's. This is our ratio, let's call that r for now. This is our ratio. So it's E naught by v b naught. But we also know that E naught by b naught is equal to the speed of light, speed of the electromagnetic wave c, which means E naught by b naught is c. So this becomes c by v. Now c is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second, and v is 3 into 10 to the power 7 meters per second, which means 3 into 10 to the power 8 by 3 into 10 to the power 7. 3 cancel out, 10 to the power 8 divides by 10 to the power 7 to give us r is equal to 10. So it is going to be 10:1, option 3. Next question, a microscope was initially placed in air. It is then immersed in oil for a light whose wavelength in air is lambda. Calculate change of microscope's resolving power due to oil. Choose the correct option. We know the resolving power is inversely proportional to lambda. Now as soon as you pass the same light through a refractive index of any whatever refractive index n, we know lambda changes to lambda by n. So that would mean in lambda dash would become equal to lambda by n, which means your resolving power is directly proportional to your refractive index n. Since it's inversely proportional to lambda and lambda itself is inversely proportional to n, that makes resolving power proportional to the refractive index n. So if the refractive index is multiplied 2 times, that means even resolving power will become twice. So resolving power will be twice in oil. So correct option is option 2. Next question, a magnet is hung at 45 degree with magnetic meridian. It makes an angle 60 degree with the horizontal. The actual value of angle of dip is, this is a standard relation. This is a very common question where we know that tan theta dash with tan theta dash is the apparent angle of dip, is equal to tan theta, which is theta is the correct angle of dip, divided by cos alpha, where alpha is the angle of declination. So we need to find the actual angle of dip. We need to find this theta over here. So tan theta is equal to cos alpha into tan theta dash. So alpha value is 45 degree. So cos of 45 multiplied with tan of what is the apparent angle of dip given, makes an angle of 60 degree with the horizontal. This is a degree over here. Right? This is not 600, this is 60 degree. So tan of 60 degree, that's the apparent angle of dip. This gives you 1 by root 2, and tan of 60 gives you root 3. So you have theta is equal to tan inverse of root 3 by root 2. Root 3 by root 2. So correct option is option 1. Next up we have a direct current 4 ampere, alternating current of peak value 4 ampere flow through resistance 3 ohm and 2 ohm respectively. Ratio of the heat produced in the two resistances are. So the heat produced, let's call that HD for DC, HD divided by HA for AC. So the DC power, the DC heat energy generated over any time, the T's will cancel out eventually, is just ID square, the DC current square, into R. And R over here would be the value for this. So let's keep this R1 divided by, you need also the power or the heat produced with respect to the AC one. But in AC one, you can't use the peak value. In AC, the relation is also I square R, but I over there refers to the RMS value, which is actually I naught by root 2 square. I naught by root 2 was the RMS value into R2. So this, we can even call this D as well, because the values are same, 4 ampere and 4 ampere. With that will help us cancel out the IDs. We don't even need to put in the values. But we have this root 2 down here, which squared will give us a 2. That 2 will go up. So you have 2 into R1 value is 3. And down below you have R2. R2 is just 2. Cancel out. You have this as 3. So your correct option is 3:1. Okay. Let's look at the next question. This says two sources equal EMFs connected in series. This combination connected to an external resistance R. Internal resistance of the two sources are small r1 and small r2. If the potential difference across source of internal resistance R1 is 0, source and the internal resistance R1 is 0, then the value of R is going to be. So let's first draw out the circuit. We have one cell here, we have its internal resistance. We have another cell here, again it has its own internal resistance, and then we have the external resistance. Let's call this, this will have the same, EMF is the same, E. This is R1, this is R2, and this has the resistance R. Now it says that across the source with internal resistance R1, potential drop is 0. So across this point and this point, the potential drop is 0. So what are the potential changes over here? Let's assume a current I is flowing through it. We can get this value of I. A current I is flowing through it. There is a drop in potential here. There is a drop in potential here of IR1, right? The potential drops here of IR1. But since the potential drop is 0, this IR1 has to be equal to E, because whatever drop happened, the battery again added up, again gave that extra amount of voltage to eventually cancel out this drop. So over here, the current we can find out, the current is just the total voltage, that is 2E divided by, since all of these resistances are in series, so 2E divided by R1 plus R2 plus R into R1 here, and that is equal to, that has to be equal to E. We've just kept the IR1 on this side. Cancel out the E's, you have 2R1 is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R. Shift things here and you get R is equal to R1 minus R2. So correct option is option 1. Next question. It says the two bar magnets oscillate in a horizontal plane in Earth's magnetic field with time periods of 3 seconds and 4 seconds respectively. If the moment of inertia of are in the ratio of 3:2, then the ratio of their magnetic moments will be. So this is, again, we know this for a relation that the time period in this case is directly proportional to root over of moment of inertia divided by the magnetic moment. This we have done in one of our previous GTM papers, we have even derived this. So this is our standard relation, which means T1 by T2 is equal to root over of I1 by I2 into M2 by M1. Now, have we been given the ratio? We need to find that m2 by m1. So T1 by T2 is given as 3 and 4. So 3 by 4 is equal to root over of I1 by I2 is 3 by 2 into m2 by m1. So firstly we square this, that gives us 9 by 16 is equal to 3 by 2 into m2 by m1. Since we're finding for m1 by m2, we send this over to this side, send that down. So that makes this as m1 by m2 is equal to 3 by 2 into 16 by 9. This goes with 3, this goes with 8. You have 8:3. That is our correct option here. Next up, same gas is filled in 2 vessels of the same volume at the same temperature. If the ratio of the number of molecules is 1:4, then we have the 4 statements. We need to figure out how many of them are correct. Firstly, the RMS velocity of gas molecules in 2 vessels will be the same. So RMS value Vrms is equal to root over 3 RT by m. So it depends only on the temperature. And as it says here, it's at the same temperature, which means the RMS values have to remain the same. So option A, so statement A is correct. Next statement, ratio of the pressures in these vessels will be 1:4. Now we know by the ideal gas, these are all ideal gases, so PV is equal to nRT. Since the volume and the temperature are kept constant, that makes pressure directly proportional to the number of moles, which means if the number of molecules, which will correspond to the number of moles because it's the same gas, so if the number of moles is 1:4, the pressure also has to be in the same ratio of 1:4. Next, pressure will be in the ratio of 1:1. This is incorrect because option 2 is correct. And RMS velocity in 2 vessels will be in the ratio of 1:4. Again, incorrect because our first option is correct. So here only the correct options are A and B. The next question says the 2 identical positive charges, capital Q each, fixed at distance 2a apart, each other another charge Q0 with mass m placed at midpoint between 2 fixed charges. For small displacement along the line joining the charges, the charge Q0 executes SHM. We need to find its time period. So first let's draw out the diagram and why that is going to happen. So you have one Q here, you have a distance 2a, and then you have the other Q here. And this is the midpoint. Originally this is where you keep your Q0. Now normally what you do in order to bring about the SHM, you shift it by a distance x. You bring it here, where this distance is x. This distance was a. Now what happens, because this is closer to this charge, the force because of this would be greater, it would push it back towards it, and that is why that SHM is going to happen. So let's find out what that unbalanced force is. F net is equal to K capital Q small q0 divided by, for this one it's going to have a plus x square, a plus x whole square, because that is the distance, and on the other side you're going to have K capital Q q0 divided by a minus x square. So you can take K cube q0 out, capital Q q0 out, then you have 1 by a plus x square minus 1 by a minus x square. That is going to give us minus 4ax divided by a square minus x square whole square. This is again a standard relation. We get this if you just do a plus 1 by a plus b whole square minus 1 by a minus b whole square, you get this. That makes this as minus K capital Q q0 into 4a into x divided by, down below you have a square minus x square to the power entire thing squared. But if x is very small, as is what we treat with SHMs, x is very small, then a square minus x square is just going to be a square, because x square would be negligible. So you have a square and another square on top, that makes it a to the power 4. You can cancel out one a over here to make it a cube. Now see, this is of the form f is equal to minus kx. F is equal to minus kx. You can even bring in the acceleration here, right? So let's directly put in the acceleration to save space. The acceleration, let's call that AC, is just that force divided by the mass. So we have just put the mass down below. Now this part except the x, that part is omega square. That part is omega square, so your omega becomes root over of this part, which is root over of q naught into q naught into 4 q naught into, we have the k, but k is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So we bring that down, 4 pi epsilon naught, and down below you also have ma cube. That is your omega. You can cancel out the 4's out here. And then we need time period. Time period is 2 pi by omega, which is just reverse of this, and you introduce a 2 pi in there. If you push the 2 pi in there, so first let's write 2 pi into root over of, that would make this as pi epsilon naught ma cube divided by q naught. If you push the 2 pi in there, it goes in as 4 pi square. So your time period now becomes root over of 4 pi cube ma cube divided by q into q naught. So correct option is 4 pi cube epsilon naught. There's also an epsilon naught, my bad. There's an epsilon naught, 4 pi cube epsilon naught ma cube divided by q naught. So our option is option 1. Next, it says that if K1 and K2 are the thermal conductivities, L1 and L2 are the lengths, A1, A2 are the cross-sectional areas, then these are the ratios given to us. The value of temperature T of the steel copper junction in this state will be. So again, we know that this whatever heat energy, the rate of flow of energy through this has to be the rate of flow of energy through that. Let's assume the temperature here is, like it says, it's T, temperature at that midpoint. So the rate of flow through this part is going to be K1, this is 1, so K1 A1 into the temperature difference is 450 minus T, 450 minus T divided by L1, and that has to be equal to, you have the same thing on the other side where you will have K2 A2 into T minus 0, so just T, you'll just have T over here divided by L2. Now 450, since we have all these ratios, we need to represent it in terms of those ratios. So my 450 minus T becomes equal to K2 by K1 into A2 by A1 into L1 by L2 into T. Now K2 by K1 is given to us, we can put in all of those values. So 450 minus T is equal to K2 by K1 is 9, K2 by K1 is 9, A2 by A1, A1 by A2 is given as 2, so A2 by A1 would be half, and L1 by L2 is given as 2. That is equal to T. 2 to cancel out, you have 9T is equal to 450 minus T, that is 450 is equal to 10T, so T is equal to 450 by 10, that is 45 degrees Celsius. Moving ahead, this says that we need to read the following statements. When the small temperature difference between liquid and its surrounding is doubled, the rate of loss of heat of the liquid becomes twice. This is the correct statement because this is just Newton's law of cooling. Next, two bodies P and Q having equal surface areas are maintained at temperature 10 and 20 degrees Celsius. The thermal radiation emitted in a given time is given by, we know that relation is given by R is equal to sigma A epsilon naught into T to the power 4. Sigma is the Stephan's constant. This is the Stephan's law. This won't be epsilon naught. This would just be an epsilon. This would just be epsilon, which is just the emissivity, and then you have the temperature raised to the power 4. So for this, it would actually, if you take the ratio of them, this would actually come out to be R1 by R2 would actually be, the temperatures are 10 degree and 20 degree, but you have to represent in their, generally you would feel that it should be 2 times, but it's actually, you have to represent them in their absolute scale. So it would actually turn out to be R1 by R2 would be 10 degrees Celsius would be 283 by 293 to the power 4. And if you just test it out, if you try it out, you will get this. So even this statement is correct. A is correct, B is also correct. Next, Carnot engine working between 100 Kelvin and 400 Kelvin has an efficiency of 75%. So let's test this out. Efficiency, theta is equal to 1 minus T2 by T1. So 1 minus 100 by 400. So 1 minus 1 by 4, that is 3 by 4, that is 75%. So even C is correct. D says when small temperature difference between liquid and its surrounding is quadrupled, rate of loss of heat becomes twice. This is incorrect because the first statement is correct. So A, B, C are our correct statements. Our correct option is option 1. Next one, two cylindrical vessels, equal cross-sectional area 16 centimeter square, contain water up to height 100 centimeter and 150 centimeter respectively. Vessels are interconnected so that the water level in them becomes equal. The work done by the force of gravity during the process is. So this is our arrangement here. Let's keep it uniform. So originally, let's assume that their levels are different. The levels are different. It's at 100, that's at 150. So technically the difference between their levels is 150. And when they eventually come back to their original point, so that change will happen up till this point, which would be 25 centimeter. That would just be 25 because it's 50, there's a difference of 50, so one comes down, other goes up, they'll meet after one has gone up by 25 centimeter. Now let's assume that we need to find the work done by the force of gravity. You can even find the work done by the pressure. Work done would just be by gravity, would just be that, the opposite sign. So let's assume initially it goes up. Now you can't directly do it with force and pressure because pressure is variable. As it reduces, as the height reduces, you know that eventually your pressure is going to reduce. So that is why you need to integrate over here. Let's assume that it goes up by a height x. It goes up by a height x. That means even this goes down by the same height x, which means now that height difference h dash is going to be whatever was the original height, that was 50 centimeter, 50 minus 2x. That is going to be the height difference this time. So, okay, we have to do it in, we need to do it in meters, I'm assuming. Let's do it in meters. So that would just be, so it's centimeters, so it's just 0.5 minus 2x. That is the height difference now. And this is what is going to give rise to the pressure. So the pressure on this, P is equal to H dash rho G, H dash rho G. And this pressure will lead to a force. That force would be given by pressure into area. The area is given to us 16 centimeters square. So the pressure into the area, we'll put everything in later. So that is the force. And we need to find the work done. Work done, W is equal to integration f dx. And what would be the limits of x? The limits of x would be from 0 to 25 centimeter. So from 0 to 0.25, right? Now we can put everything in. From 0 to 0.25, you have first the force. Force is pressure into area. So put H rho G, so 0.5 minus 2x, H into, this is H dash, into rho into G into area, that is the force, into dx. Now over here, rho G A are all constants. You can take them out to get W is equal to rho G A, and integration, you're just left with 0.5 minus 2x. So 0.5x x minus x square, and the limits go from 0 to 0.25. So we need to put in the values. Rho value is given as 10 to the power 3. This is 10 to the power 3, not 103. 10 to the power 3, so 1000. G value we have given as 10. Rho G A, the area of cross section, is provided to us as 16 centimeters square. So 16 into 10 to the power minus 4, 16 centimeters square, and over here it's going to be 0.5 into 0.25, that is going to give us 0.125, minus 0.25 square is going to give us 0.0625. And when we put 0, everything goes to 0, so we don't need to bother about that. Now over here, solving, we can see this 10, this 1000, 10 to the power 3 into 10 to the power 1, 10 to the power 4 goes with this. So the work done is equal to 16 into 0.125 minus 0.0625 is just 0.0625, right? So 16, so 0.0625 into 2 gives you 0.125 into 4, so 0.625 into 4 will give you 0.25 into 4 will give you 1. So W is equal to 1. The answer is 1 joule. Next question. It says that two satellites A and B having masses in the ratio 4:3 are revolving in circular orbits radius 3r and 4r respectively around the Earth. The ratio of the mechanical energy of A to B is. Now we know the formula for the mechanical energy, which is the sum of potential plus kinetic energy. It's given by E is equal to Gm m naught or me, mass of the Earth, divided by 8r. Oh, my bad, 2r. Divided by 2r. It's also a negative sign over here, but we ignore the negative sign for now. Divided by the radius, whichever is. Keep it r here. So what are different with respect to both of them? Their masses are different, which means m is different, and this r is different for both of them. So E1 by E2 is equal to m1 by r1 into m2 by r divided by m2 by r2. So m1 by m2 is given to us as 4 by 3. That is 4 by 3, and the radii are given as 3 and 4, which means r1 is 3 and r2 is 4. 3, here we have 4. So if you do that, we'll get 16 by 9. So correct option is option 2, 16 by 9. Next question. Sand is being dropped from a stationary dropper at a rate of 0.5 kg per second on a conveyor belt moving with a velocity 5 meters per second. Power needed to keep the belt moving with the same velocity will be. So over here, the sand is dropping and you need the power, so you first need the force. And force is equal to d dt of mv, mass into velocity. Generally we take the mass out, but this time mass is not constant because mass itself is changing. Here, mass itself is changing. So we rather take the velocity out, v into dm dt, rate of change of mass. So v is given as 5 meters per second, and dm dt, the rate of change of mass, is provided here as 0.5 kg. So 0.5, that is going to give us 2.5 kg meters per second square. Next, we need to find the power. Power is just force into velocity. Force we've got as 2.5 Newton, and velocity is given as 5. So that makes it 12.5 watts. So the correct option is option 4. Next, a bag is gently dropped on a conveyor belt moving at a speed of 2 meters per second. Coefficient of friction between conveyor belt and bag is 0.4. Initially, the bag slips on the belt before it stops due to friction. Distance traveled by the bag on the belt before slipping motion is. So over here, what is the force that is acting? The force is the frictional force. And initially the bag had 0 speed, but the frictional force gave it an acceleration that eventually will give it this speed. So first let's find out what that acceleration is by finding the frictional force. Since the mass is not given to us, we'll assume that the mass is m, because the frictional force would then be nu mg. And that is what is going to give the acceleration to the body itself. So that is equal to ma. M's cancel out because m is something we had assumed, so it's good. So the acceleration is mu into g. Now this acceleration, we have been asked to find the distance traveled over which this acceleration works to give this speed of 2 meters per second. So we can even put in the values here. A is equal to mu value is given as 0.4 and this is 10. So this is 4 meters per second square. Next, we'll use the relation of v square equal to u square plus 2as. So u is 0. Initially when you drop, there's no speed. So the relation is just v square is equal to 2as. So s is equal to v square by 2a. V is given as 2 meters per second, so V square makes it 4 divided by 2 into acceleration is 4, so cancel out, you have S as 0.5 meters. That is your correct option. Next question, torque meter is calibrated to the standards of mass, length and time, each with 5% accuracy. After calibration, the measured torque with this meter will have a net accuracy of. So there is no direct relation with respect to mass, length and time, but dimensionally we know that torque is equal to m L2 t minus 2, which means if there were a relation, then it would be m to the power 1, L to the power, the length factor to the power 2 and time factor to the power minus 2, which means when we find the error, the percentage error of tau, we'll treat it in that way. What is the error given in terms of mass? Each has an accuracy or that error as 5%, right? So m is just going to contribute 5%. The length part is going to contribute 2 into 5% because it's squared, and the time again is going to contribute 2 into 5% because again it's squared. I've told before that the negative part doesn't matter. In error you add everything up, so that's 2 into 10% plus another 10% here and then the 5%, that is 25%. So we use dimensional analysis and error analysis at once in the same question. Next up, a bullet is shot vertically downwards with an initial velocity 100 meters per second from a certain height. Within 10 seconds, bullet reaches the ground and instantaneously comes to rest due to perfectly elastic collision. The velocity time graph for total time t is t equal to 20 seconds will be, and here the correct option is option 1, because you can see first up it's traveling downwards and it's accelerating. If it's traveling downwards, it's accelerating by gravity, so its speed should increase downward. That negative slope is there in this and this, but this cannot be true because at initial time it has positive velocity, which means this is when it's shot up. Now this is a case where it's going down because it is in the velocity values are negative always and it's increasing, but this is not correct because since you shoot it down, you have an initial velocity. That means even at t equal to 0 you have a specific value. That is why you have at t equal to 0 a value of minus 100 meters per second. Here this is a case you're just dropping it, right? This is not shot down. Next we move on to the numerical based questions. It says a pulley of radius 1.5 meter is rotated about its axis by a force given by this applied tangentially. If moment of inertia of the pulley about its axis is 4.5 kg per meter square, the number of rotations made by the pulley before its direction of motion is reversed will be. So first up, we know torque is equal to I alpha, so or rather F into R, so R is given 1.5 meters into F is 12t minus 3t square. This is equal to I alpha, I is given as 4.5 into alpha. This alpha is what we need to find. So this goes here, cancels out with 3 when coming here gives this 4 and makes this 1. So your alpha is equal to 4t minus just t square. Now next thing we need is the angular speed omega, and omega is equal to integration alpha dt. So that is going to give us 4t minus t square. When you integrate, that gives you 2t square minus t cube by 3 plus c. Now the c value will be equal to 0. Why? Because it starts from rest. So at t equal to 0, we had 0 angular speed. So if you put t equal to 0 and 0 here, you get c value is 0. So we can ignore this constant of integration. So we have omega. Next thing we need is the number of rotations made by the pulley before its direction is reversed. So we also need theta. But before that there's something crucial. When do we know that it's going to reverse? It is going to reverse when this omega value becomes equal to 0. Because it's turning at a certain speed, it's slowing down. Before it turns back, that omega has to become 0. Which means we test for that time when omega becomes equal to 0, and that we get from equating omega equal to 0, 2t square minus t cube by 3 should be equal to 0, or rather 2 should be equal to t by 3. So t is equal to 6 seconds. Right? So we've got the time when it turns. Now let's move ahead to finding the displacement covered in that time from t equal to 0 to t equal to t seconds. And that angular displacement theta is equal to integration omega dt. But this time we have the limits of 0 to time is 6 seconds. So we put in the relation for omega. If you integrate this, 2t squared is going to give us 2 by 3t cube minus t cube by 3 is going to give us t to the power 4 divided by, there's a 4 coming down, so 12. So the limits for that is 0 to 6 seconds over here. Now we just need to put in the values of 6 in there with respect to time. That gives us 2 into 2 into 6 cube, that is 216 divided by 3 minus 6 to the power 4, so 216 multiplied with another 6, that takes it to, I'm assuming, 1296. 1296 divided by 12. Yeah, 1296 divided by 12. Now few things are going to cancel out here because this 3 takes away here as 72 and this 12 takes 1296 by 108. So 2 into 72 is 144, 144 minus 108 minus 108, that is giving us 36. That gives us 36. So that is theta. But mind you, this is just radians. We have been asked for the number of rotations, made by it. So if theta is 36, the number of rotations n is just going to be equal to theta divided by 2 pi, that is 36 by 2 pi. Cancel this out, you get 18 here. So n is equal to 18 by pi. We had to represent it in this form, k by pi. So k is 18. So is that our correct option? Yes, that is our correct answer. K is equal to 18. Next question, ball of mass m thrown vertically upward, another ball of mass 2m is thrown at an angle theta with the vertical. Both balls stay in the air for the same period of time. Ratio of the heights attained by the two balls is 1 by x. Now this is a conceptual question, we don't even need to go into maths. So over here one ball is thrown up, right, and another ball is thrown at an angle, but even the ball that's thrown at an angle has an upward component of its velocity. Now we know that the time of flight only depends on the upward component, it does not depend on the horizontal component, which means if the time of flight is same, that means that upward component for both the cases is the same. That means whatever was the speed you threw it up with, even the other case, the upward component is exactly equal to that velocity. Now just like time, even the height attained depends only on the vertical component of velocity and on nothing else. Which means if the vertical component of velocity is same, even the height attained by both of them will be same. Which means they will have the same value, so it will just be 1 by 1 by 1. The ratio will be 1 by 1. So the x will be equal to 1. Here we have to put it, x is just equal to 1. It's conceptual. Next one, a mass of 0.9 kg attached to a horizontal spring executes SHM with amplitude A1. When this mass passes through its mean position, then a smaller mass 124 grams is placed over it. Both masses move together with an amplitude A2. If the ratio of A1 by A2 is alpha by alpha minus 1, then the value of alpha will be. So here what is happening is that the kinetic energy can change. When you add the extra mass, the kinetic energy can change, because it would essentially be like an inelastic collision. A mass is suddenly attached to it, right? So the kinetic energy changes, and based on that, the amplitude that it takes, that will contribute to the potential energy, and the potential energy will always be equal to the kinetic energy in the middle. So that's exactly what we will do. In the first case, half k A1 square, A1 is the original amplitude. At that time, we had the kinetic energy K1, we won't write it in K, we'll write it in terms of the momentum. That is P1 square divided by 2m1. You'll see why I'm representing it in P1 square. And on the other side, we have half k A2 square is equal to P2 square divided by 2 M2. M2 now refers to both the masses together. Now since we want A1 by A2, let's take the ratio over here. A1, so we'll get everything half k will cancel out, even these 2's will cancel out. We will have A1 square by A2 square is equal to P1 square by P2 square into M2 by M1. Now see over here, P1 and P2 have to be the same. Why? Because even if you add another mass, the momentum has to remain conserved. So P1 has to be equal to P2. So this part is going to be 1. That is not changing. The only thing that's going to change are the masses over here. Because originally the mass was M2 is going to be 0.9 kg, that is 900 gram into 124 gram. The reason I'm representing it in gram is important. That would give me 1024. And down below I'll be having 900 kg, that is 0.9 kg, that is 900 gram. Why is this important? Because this gives both of these 1024 and 900 are both perfect squares. That is why this is important. So A1 by A2 is equal to 1024 is, we'll put a root over of this, 1024 is 32 square and 900 we know is 30 square. So that means this is equal to 32 by 30, that is, you can cancel out with 2 here to get 16 by 15. That's the answer. Oh, that's not the answer. We have to represent in terms of alpha by alpha minus 1, which is, we can write it easily since the numbers are as such as 16 minus 1. So your alpha, if you compare both of them, your alpha will be 16. Okay. Next question, square aluminium shear modulus 25 into 10 to the power, this is again 10 to the power 9, 10 to the power 9 Newton per meter square, slab of side 60 centimeter, thickness 15 centimeter is subjected to a shearing force on its narrow side of 18 into 10 to the power 4 Newton. Lower edge is riveted to the floor. The displacement of the upper edge is, so it's very important that you understand this crucial part. They're applying the force on the narrow face. Narrow face means if you have the block, right, let's this is not the correct representation of it. If you have the block, this would be a better one. Have the block, then you're applying the force up top. Applying the force up top where this length is your 60 centimeter, this length is 15 centimeter, and this is again 60 centimeter. That is why it said you're applying force on the narrow edge. This is not the narrow edge. You have to understand how it is oriented. Now when you're applying the force, we can, since we have been given the, let's again put this, since we have been given the force that we are applying, we can actually get out how much stress, the shear stress it would lead to. The shear stress it would lead to would be equal to F by A. We'll keep it like this for now. And I want the displacement of the lower edge. So I want that strain. Now with respect to the shearing deformation, we know that strain was equal to x by h, right? H referred to this height, x referred to whatever was the shift in the top position. So when we put that in the relation for the shear modulus eta, then that eta is equal to F by A, the shear strain, divided by x by h, which is the shear strain. So this relation, since you're finding for x is equal to F into h divided by A into eta. So we just put in the values. I'm not going into the calculations. Everything is given. The force is given. H is given. H is going to be 60 centimeter, mind you. H is given. The area is going to be, so okay, let's put that in because there's still a few things to do over here. So it's 18 into 10 to the power 4 multiplied with the height, which is 60 centimeter. Be careful to bring it down into its SI units, divided by the area. The area is just this area here, which is 15 into 60 into 10 to the power minus 4, because they were in centimeters, and eta value is the shear modulus that is given as 25 into 10 to the power 9 to 10 to the power 9. So if you calculate that, you will eventually get x value as 148 micrometer. This you will get as 48 micrometer. Okay. Next, a 1 meter long copper wire carries a current of 1 ampere. Cross section of 2 millimeter square. Resistivity of copper is 1.7 into 10 to the power minus 8 ohm meter. The force experienced by moving electron in the wire is, we need to figure it out. Now we know by Ohm's law, E is equal to rho into J, where J is the current density, or we can write this as rho into I by A. This simplifies things for us. Why? Because we have been given the resistivity. Rho refers to the resistivity that is provided to us, current value is given to us, and the area of cross section is also given to us. So we will get the electric field, and the force is just the electronic charge, E into E, electronic charge into the electric field, which put in here will make this E into rho into I divided by A. So you can put in the values, 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 charge of an electron, resistivity 1.7 into 10 to the power minus 8, you have the current, that is just 1 ampere given to us, won't bother us, and down below you have the area, that's 2 millimeter square, so it's 2 into 10 to the power minus 6, because it's in millimeter square. So again, I won't go into the calculation. You'll get the force value as equal to 1 into 10 to the power minus 23 Newton. Okay. Next question. My bad, you won't get 1. I took the wrong answer here. That's why even I felt, why is this answer a little weird? So you'll get 1.36 into 10 to the power minus 21, because this would not go with 1, everything is not cancelling out, because 1.6 into 1.7 is not going with 2, so it can't lead to 1. So 1.36 10 to the power minus 21, you have to represent in terms of 10 to the power minus 23, so it would become 136 in that case. Next up, a cylindrical volume contains a uniformly distributed charge, rho per centimeter cube, electric field inside cylindrical vessel at a distance x. This is given from its axis as. So we assume a hypothetical Gaussian model here of a cylinder which has a hypothetical length L, and the radius is the radius x, where we need to find it. So our first goal is to find the enclosed charge. Enclosed charge is just equal to that density multiplied with this volume of this cylinder. Volume of the cylinder is pi r square L, so pi x square L. That is my enclosed charge. Next we'll use Gauss law, which is integration E dot dA is equal to the enclosed charge divided by epsilon naught. E is going to be a constant. Now we don't consider the electric field because of this top part, because the electric field is along the surface, it does not cut through the surface, so the top and bottom surface won't contribute. It's just this curved surface area where electric field is constant because it's equidistant and symmetrical. Each point on the curved surface is equidistant, symmetrical, and their electric field is perpendicular. So we can represent it as E into just the curved surface area of the cylinder, that is 2 pi into x into L, is equal to the enclosed charge was rho pi x square L by epsilon naught. You can cancel out the pi, x and x goes out, even the L's cancel out, 1x goes, 1x still remains, L cancels out, it's good that was hypothetical. So E is equal to rho by 2 epsilon naught into x. Now x itself is again 2 epsilon naught by rho, so they all cancel out, you get E is equal to 1 volt per meter. Next, two beams of light having intensity I and 4i interfere to produce a fringe pattern on a screen. Phase difference between the two beams are pi by 2 and pi by 3 at points A and B respectively. The difference between resultant intensities at 2 points is xi. So we know the intensity at any point I is equal to I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 into root over I1 to root over I2 into cos of whatever is the phase difference. Now in the first, now I1 is equal to I and I2 is equal to 4i, which means for the first case we have for the first case we are naming it I1, that is equal to I plus 4i plus 2 into root over of I into 4i, that is going to give us 2i out. It's 2 into 2i into cos of pi by 2. So cos of pi by 2, we know cos of pi by 2 is 0. So this entire part goes to 0. You're only left with this part. So I1 is equal to 5i. On the other side, you have the second case. In the second case, your I2 is equal to, similarly, I plus 4i, this part stays consistent, doesn't really make a difference. This part again will also remain the same. So 2 into 2i, but now you have cos of pi by 3. So cos pi by 3 means cos of 60. Cos of 60 is half. If you put in half, this 2 cancels out and you eventually have I2 is equal to 5i as was. 1, 2 cancels out because of cos pi by 3 giving you half. So you have 2i, so that makes it 7i. So we need the difference between them. So I2 minus I1 is just 7i minus 5i, that is 2i. So x is equal to 2. So the next question says, to light a 50 watt 100 volt lamp, it's connected in series with a capacitor, capacitance values given in terms of x. With a 200 volt 50 hertz AC source, value of x would be. So first up, we need to find the resistance of this lamp. The resistance of the lamp R is equal to V square by P, because P is V square by R. So V square by P, if you put V is equal to 100 into 100 divided by P is 50 watts. So 50, cancel this out. You get the resistance as 200 ohms. Next thing we need is what is the current necessary in this lamp to light it up. The current is I is equal to P by V, because the power is voltage into the current, P by V. So P is given as 50 watts divided by 100 volts, that is 0.5 amperes. Now this current is coming about because you have the AC source over here supplying a voltage at a specific frequency, and you have the impedance of the circuit because of the resistance and the capacitance. So this 0.5 ohms, this current 0.5 is equal to this voltage 200 divided by the impedance of the circuit, which is root over of R square plus XC square. R value we already got as 200, so R square plus XC square, where XC is the capacitive reactance because of the capacitor over here. So 0.5 multiplied with divided by 200 would actually make this, and if we cross multiply, we would get this relation as 200 square plus XC square is equal to 400 square. Now we bring this over to this side, that would make XC square is equal to 400 square minus 200 square. We use a mathematical trick here. We do this since it's 400 square minus 200 square, we do a square minus b square equal to a plus b into a minus b. That would make this 200 a minus b into 600, which is a plus b. So that is XC square. So XC is equal to root over of this. So when you take a root over, you get a 100 out and you get a 2 out, and you're left with a root 3 in there. Okay, because here you have to 200 into 200 into 3. So 200 comes out, you have root 3 left. That is XC. And XC is 1 by 2 pi FC. F is the frequency that is given here as 50 hertz. That is equal to 200 root 3. that will be equal to 200 root 3. So we need to find for C. C is just equal to 1 divided by 2 pi into the frequency is given as 50 Hertz. 50 into this comes down, so 200 root 3. So the question says to represent it in this form with root x. We don't even need to calculate. We see the only thing that can come under a root is 3. So our x is equal to 3. Next question, in a meter bridge experiment for measuring unknown resistance x, null point is obtained at a distance 30 cm from the left side as shown at point D. If R is equal to 5.6 kilo ohm, then the value of unknown resistance S will be. So how do we find this unknown resistance? We find the null point where there is no current flowing, which means this becomes a balanced Wheatstone. So if the resistance of this part and this part, the resistance, whatever is the resistance per unit length, let's call that for the sake of this part as just rho. That is the resistance per unit length, not resistivity. This means that if it's a balanced Wheatstone, then S divided by 30 into rho, this is resistance per unit length in terms of centimeters, is equal to R divided by 100 minus 30, that would be 70 into rho. See, the rho does not even matter because it cancels out. So your S is just R into 3 by 7. 30 by 70, you cancel out the 10, send it there. R value is given as 5.6 kilo ohm. 5.6 into 3 by 7, 10 to the power 3 because it's in kilo ohms. This goes with 0.8. This gives you 2.4 into 10 to the power 3, that is 2400 ohms. So correct option is 2400 ohms. Next question, the 1 division of main scale of vernier caliper reads 1 millimeter and 10 divisions vernier scale equal to 9 divisions on main scale. That just means that least count is equal to 0.1 mm. This is the standard vernier caliper. Next, when two jaws of the instrument touch each other, the zero of the vernier lies to the right of the zero of the main scale, which means it's a positive zero error. It lies to the right of the zero, and its fourth division coincides with the main scale division, which means the zero error is actually plus 0.4 mm. Because fourth one matches and it's on the positive side. Next, when spherical bob is tightly placed, the zero of the vernier scale lies in between 4.1 and 4.2 centimeters. So now we can find the reading, scale reading. The main scale reading is 4.1 centimeter. It lies in between means we take the previous value. That is 41 millimeter. Plus, what is the vernier reading? 6th vernier coincides, so it's 6 into LC. And then you have the zero error. Since it's a positive zero error, it has to be subtracted, minus 0.4. All of these are in millimeters. That makes it 41 plus 6 into 0.1, that is 0.6. 0.6 minus 0.4 gives you 0.2, so it's 41.2 millimeters. The answer tells us to represent it in 10 to the power minus 2 centimeters, so it's just going to be 412 into 10 to the power minus 2 centimeters. So our answer is 412. So that's it. Those were all the questions with regards to this GTM 7. And again, this was a comparatively easier paper. Maybe in the numericals part, there were 1 or 2 which needed a few mathematical tricks. But besides that, we would consider it as an easy paper. Also, this was a paper where most questions were solved a bit quicker. Generally in JEE, when you get a paper like this, some other part, either chemistry or maths, might be a bit lengthy. So try to finish it as soon as possible and move on to the other ones. That said, I'll catch you with the next GTM solution.
Welcome to the video solution of chemistry section of Grand Test number 7. This is Nitin Verma, a chemistry faculty at Infinity Learn by Sri Chaitanya. So let's get started with the first question. In Carrier's method of estimation of halogen, 0.45 gram of an organic compound gave 0.36 gram of AgBr. The question is, what is the percentage composition of bromine, right? So we know that in this estimation of halogen, the entire bromine in the compound is converted to AgBr. Alright. Now the molar mass of AgBr is 188, which means if I am getting 188 gram of AgBr, then it must contain 80 gram of bromine. Alright. By simple, 1 mole AgBr contains 1 mole bromine. So 188 gram of AgBr must contain 80 gram of bromine. But as per the question, we are getting 0.36 gram of AgBr. Then the mass of bromine in that AgBr is 80 divided by 188 multiplied by 0.36 gram. Alright. So this is the mass of bromine that is present in 0.45 gram of compound. Now the question is, what is the percentage of bromine? So of course the percentage of bromine is the mass of bromine, which is 80 into 0.36 divided by 188, right? This is the mass of bromine. I'll divide it by the mass of compound, which is 0.45, and then to convert to percentage, we will multiply it by 100, right? So this will come out to be 34.04%. You can do the calculation, right? Moving to the next question. It's a theoretical one, very simple one. Benzene sulfonyl chloride. Yes, we call it Hinsberg region. It is used to distinguish between primary, secondary and tertiary amines, right? So A matches with third. Yes, we got our correct answer, right? So you don't have to go further, but anyway, let's see. Hoffman bromide reaction, it matches with one. So non-reaction of isocyanates. Yes, we know that in Hoffman bromide degradation reaction, isocyanates are intermediate, right? So B matches with fourth, C matches with first. Carbioamine reaction, it's a test for primary amines, and D matches with second. Hoffman is opposite of ZZEF elimination, right? So that is the correct answer. Here a sugar X dehydrates very slowly under acidic condition to give furfuryl. So this is furfuryl, guys. As you can see, it has 5 carbon atoms, right? 4 in the ring and this CHO carbon, right? So that means if a sugar molecule is forming furfuryl, it should have 5 carbon atoms, right? So the correct answer is aldopentose. Then again a theoretical memory based question. So you know that this is a narcotic analgesic, this is a component of Dettol, right? Chloroxylenol, this is an antidepressant, and this is the famous artificial sweetening agent saccharine, right? So the correct answer here will be option third, right? 3 matches with third and like that, okay? A simple reaction from organic chemistry. So we have a phenolic moiety and an alcohol, right? It reacts with HCl. So we know that this will more easily undergo substitution. So this becomes CH2Cl, right? And this reaction is Finkelstein reaction with sodium iodide. So iodine replaces chlorine, right? So what do we get as the final product here is OH, and this is CH2I. Alright, so the correct answer is this, CH2I and then OH, so that will remain untouched. Again, memory based question. So phenol formaldehyde resin, the linear polymer is called Novolac, it's a component of paints, and then copolymer of 1,3-butadiene and styrene, so Buna S for styrene, then polyester of glycol and phthalic acid, Glyptal, and polyester of glycol and terephthalic acid is Dacron, right? So it's an ester, so the correct answer in this case is this one. Alright. Moving to the next question, again memory based. Sulfate greater than 500 ppm causes laxative effect. Nitrate above 50 ppm causes blue baby syndrome, right? And lead is harmful, right, for your kidney. Renal damage it causes, and fluoride is not good for teeth in high concentration, right? It causes brown mottling of teeth. So the correct answer in this case is this one. Coming to the next question, 6-aniline, 8-aniline and cis-10-aniline are respectively aromatic, non-aromatic and aromatic, right? So we know that 6-aniline is nothing but benzene. It's a very popular aromatic compound. 8-aniline, to avoid angular strain, it bends out of plane, right? And this 10-aniline, if we assume that this is planar, right, as it is shown, then it would be expected to be aromatic. So assuming that this is planar, this does adopt a planar conformation, this compound can be expected to be paramagnetic. Planarity is one of the requirements of aromatic systems. Yes, one of the requirements for a molecule to be aromatic is that the ring should be planar, right? So for this, the correct answer is option A. Okay. Now going to the next question. Iron third catalyst, acidified potassium dichromate and neutral KMnO4 have the ability to oxidize iodide to iodine independently. So yes, ferric itself undergoes reduction to ferrous and it does oxidize iodide to iodine. Same reaction is shown by acidified potassium dichromate, but neutral KMnO4, it does not oxidize iodide ion to iodine. Instead, it oxidizes iodide ion to iodide, right? So this statement is incorrect. Manganate ion is paramagnetic in nature and involves p-pi bonding. So manganate is MnO4 2 minus, right? So MnO4 minus is permanganate, MnO4 2 minus is manganate. So you can see the oxidation number is +6, right? Which clearly means that manganese, which otherwise is 3d54s2, in +6 oxidation state, it is 3d1. That means yes, it does have one unpaired electron, it is expected to be paramagnetic. But because the geometry of permanganate ion is tetrahedral, there is no p orbital available on manganese. So the pi bond will be d pi p pi, right? Right. So MnO4 2 minus, it will be, so manganate ion is paramagnetic, true, and involves p pi bonding, no. Right. So both statements are false. Next question, total number of manganese double bond oxygen in Mn2O7 is 6. A very simple question based on the structure, because this is the structure of Mn2O7. So you can see there are 2 manganese oxygen single bonds and 6 double bonds, right? The statements again, chlorides of beryllium and aluminum have chlorobridged structure, yes. Both are soluble in organic solvents, yes. And act as Lewis bases, no. Acids, right? Because compounds of group 13 elements are electron deficient, so they act as Lewis acids, that is electron pair acceptors. So this is incorrect. Hydroxides of beryllium and aluminum dissolve in excess alkali to give berylate and aluminate ion, yes, right? Because beryllium and aluminum hydroxide, they are amphoteric, so they can accept electron pair, thereby acting as Lewis acid, and they can form BeOH4 2 minus and like that, right? So here statement 1 is false, but statement 2 is true. So this one and this one, right? Next question, which oxo acid of phosphorus has the highest number of oxygen atoms per molecule, right? So phosphorus acid is H3PO3, pyrophosphorus is remove one water molecule, right, from 2 molecules, so that will be H4P2O5. Hypophosphoric is H4P2O6, right, and phosphoric, very simple one, H3PO4, and pyrophosphoric is remove one water molecule from 2 molecules of H3PO4, so that gives us H4P2O7. So yes, which oxo acid has the maximum number of oxygen atoms in its formula? Pyrophosphoric acid, right, 7 oxygens. Which of the following methods are not used to refine any metal? That is, which of the following are not refining methods, right? So liquation is a method, right? Calcination is not, it is used to convert hydroxides, hydrated oxides and carbonates to oxides. And electrolysis, yes, we do refine copper, for example. Leaching, again, no, it's a method of concentration of ore. And distillation, yes, for low boiling metals we use distillation, for low melting metals we use liquation, right? So the correct answer here is B and D. B and D, they are not refining methods, the rest are. Very simple question from metallurgy. Hydrogen peroxide can act as oxidizing agent in both acidic and basic conditions, yes. When it acts as an oxidizing agent, it undergoes reduction, right? So hydrogen peroxide is oxidizing another, so itself undergoes reduction. So it can form water or hydroxide ion depending upon the medium. If the medium is acidic, the product is water. In alkaline medium, the product is hydroxide ion. Density of hydrogen peroxide is lower than that of heavy water, no, right? So here this statement is incorrect. Density of H2O2 is higher than that of heavy water, right? So here statement 1 is true, but statement 2 is false. Boiling point of 2% aqueous solution of a non-volatile solute A is equal to the boiling point of 8% aqueous solution of non-volatile solute B, the relation between the molecular weights of A and B. So basically, we have two different solutes A and B, and we are assuming, I think that yeah, the solvent is water, right? They are present at the same solvent. So because the boiling point is same and the solvent is same, so that means elevation in boiling point is same. Now elevation in boiling point is a colligative property. It depends upon the number of solute particles relative to the total number of particles, which clearly means that the molality of A should be equal to the molality of B, right? Now molality of A, it is 2% aqueous solution of A, that is 2 gram of A, right, divided by molar mass of A, that gives us number of moles, right, mass divided by molar mass, number of moles, and 2% solution of non-volatile solute A, so solute is solvent is 98 gram, right, or if you are assuming dilute solution, you can take 100, right. Then in case of B, the solution is 8%, so 8 gram of B divided by MB, right, mass divided by molar mass, number of moles, and if you are taking it mass percentage, then the mass of solvent will be 92, or if you are assuming dilute solution, then 100 also. In either case, the most appropriate answer would be this one, right. You can solve this simple, so the answer would be MB is equal to 4 MA or nearby that, right. The incorrect statement is the first ionization enthalpy of potassium is less than that of sodium and lithium. Yes, ionization enthalpy decreases down the group, right. Xenon does not have the lowest first ionization enthalpy, right? No, right? Xenon does not have the lowest first ionization enthalpy. Below xenon we have radon, right, which has lower ionization enthalpy. So that is correct, that is correct. The first ionization enthalpy of element with atomic number 37 is lower than that of the element with atomic number 38. Yes, so I think we are talking about krypton, rubidium and strontium. So yes, ionization enthalpy increases across the period. So rubidium should have lower ionization enthalpy than strontium. And the last, the first ionization enthalpy of gallium is higher than that of the D block element with atomic number 30. So basically the element with atomic number 30 is zinc, right. So it is 3D10 and 4s2 completely filled subshell, whereas gallium is 3D10, 4s2 and then 4p1. So this has this lonely electron in 4p, which it would not regret losing, right. So that electron is lost easily, and gallium does not have higher ionization enthalpy. In fact, it has a lower ionization enthalpy than zinc, right, the first ionization enthalpy we are talking about. So this statement is incorrect, right. Given below are two statements, energy of 2s orbital of hydrogen atom is greater than that of the 2s orbital of lithium. Yes, you can easily understand it from the concept of Coulomb's force also. In case of lithium, the nuclear charge is more, so attractive force is more. Attractive force is more means energy is less. So lithium should have lower energy, and 2s orbital of hydrogen atom should have higher energy. Energies of the orbitals in the same subshell decreases with increase in atomic number. Yes, right, as the atomic number increases, right, so what happens, nuclear attraction increases and the energy also decreases, right. So both assertion and reason are true, and they are the correct explanation. Then activated charcoal absorbs sulfur dioxide more efficiently than methane. Yes, because the methane is non-polar, whereas sulfur dioxide is polar molecule. It has a stronger intermolecular forces. Gases with lower critical temperatures are readily absorbed by activated charcoal. No, a given adsorbent, it absorbs those gases more readily which have higher critical temperature, because attractive force is proportional to critical temperature. So because sulfur dioxide has stronger attractive forces than methane, it will have higher critical temperature. So that is direct dependence, not the inverse, right. So which one is correct? Assertion A is correct, but reason is false, right. So this is correct, but this is not. 250 gram solution of D-glucose in water contains 10.8% of carbon by weight. The molality of the solution is nearest to, right. So the total solution is 250 gram, out of which 10.8% is carbon. So can I say the mass of carbon would be 10.8% of 250, all right. So you can calculate, this is 27 gram, right. Now 27 gram is carbon. So we know that glucose C6H12O6, right? So molar mass of glucose is 180 gram per mole, which contains 6 carbon, right? So can I say that 180 gram of glucose indicates the presence of 6, that is 72 gram of carbon, right? But my solution, which is 250 gram, it is found to contain 27 gram of carbon, right? So 72 gram of carbon indicates the presence of 180 gram of glucose. So 27 gram carbon is 180 divided by 72 multiplied by 27. All right. So this is the mass of glucose, right? You can find out the mass of solvent, 250 minus 540 divided by 8, right? So what would be the molality? The molality would be number of moles of glucose, which is mass divided by molar mass, right, 180, and the mass of solvent, because the molality of the solution is to be calculated, right? So this would be 250 minus 540 divided by 8, right? So you can work it out. Of course, you'll have to multiply it by 1000 to convert it into kilograms. So the answer would be 2.06 approximately, right? A little lengthy calculation, you can do it. Then oxygen, Cu2 plus and Fe3 plus are weakly attracted by magnetic field. By means, they're trying to say that they are paramagnetic, because these substances by definition are weakly attracted by external magnetic field and magnetized in the same direction. So yes, we know molecular orbital theory explained that oxygen is diamagnetic because of 2 unpaired electrons. Copper is 3d10 4s1. So copper 2 plus means 3d9. Yes, odd electrons, there must be one unpaired electron. Fe is 3d6 4s2. So Fe3 plus means 3d5. Again, odd number of electrons, right? You don't even have to go into the details. It has to be paramagnetic, right? So yes, that is correct. NaCl and water are weakly magnetized in the opposite direction. So we are basically talking about diamagnetic substances. These are those which do not have unpaired electrons. All their electrons are paired, right? So yes, sodium has 10 electrons, chlorine has 18 electrons, right? Neon and argon configuration. Water is molecule, all electrons are paired. So yes, both statements are correct. Then optical activity of an enantiomeric mixture is 12.6, and the specific rotation of the dextroisomer is 30 degree. The optical purity means enantiomeric excess. How much in excess one enantiomer is over the other, right? So if I assume, if I take 1 mole of the mixture, right, and if I assume that the positive, this dextroisomer is X mole, right, and the levoisomer would then be, of course, 1 minus X mole, right, and the total optical activity of the mixture is 12.6 degree. We know that the 2 enantiomers of a compound have equal magnitude of optical rotation, the signs are opposite, right? So for the dextroisomer, rotation is 30 and the mole is X, right? Now plus but minus, because the other enantiomer levo will have negative rotation, right, and its number of moles is 1 minus X. So this is the net rotation, optical rotation of the compound, which is given to be 12.6 degrees, right? Now we don't have to do this question completely. What they are asking is optical purity. What is enantiomeric excess basically? So one enantiomer is X, another is 1 minus X. So basically they are asking this difference, right? This is a magnitude, right? Not with the sign. So what I will do, I'll divide this equation by 30. So X minus 1 minus X is 12.6 divided by 30, right? Yeah, so 0.42, and convert it to, right, percentage, it will be, because we have taken 1 mole, right? So to convert it to percentage, it will be 42%, right? That is the solution. Here the percentage yield of first reaction is 60 and that of the second is 50, right? So imagine we used to do questions like there are two successive discounts of 50%, so what is the net discount? So this question is exactly like that. The yield of the first reaction is 60% and that of the second reaction is 50%. So the overall percentage yield is this, right? You divide each yield by 100 and then multiply once by 100 to convert it to back percentage. So this is very easy, guys. It will come out to be 30%. All right. The conductivity of a solution of a complex with formula this corresponds to 1:1 electrolyte, means 1 cation, 1 anion. Then the primary valence, which is the ionizable portion of central metal ion, is. Now because we are assuming it is an octahedral complex and it is 1:1 electrolyte. So we can write this, right? CO, NH3, 4, Cl2 and Cl. So then it will give you 1 cation, the coordination entity, and 1 anion. So yes, the primary valency is 1. That is the correct answer, right? In the titration of camenophore and oxalic acid is COH twice, where the oxidation number of carbon is +3, right? You can find that. The change in oxidation number of carbon at the end point. So what happens, guys? Camenophore is a strong oxidizing agent, and in aqueous medium I would more appropriately write oxalic acid as oxalate. So it is oxidized to actually carbon dioxide. So the oxidation number is +4. So there is a change of 1. According to molecular orbital theory, the number of species or ions from the following having identical bond order. So there is a very simple shortcut for that. All of these are isosters. They are having same. All of these are not isosters, but they do have same number of atoms, right? So now just we have to find is which of them are isosters, right? Because they will have the same bond order. So 6 and 7, 13 plus 1, 14 electrons. 7 plus 8, 15 minus 1, positive charge 14 electrons. This is 16 electrons. 16 minus 1, 15 electrons, and 16 minus 2, 14 electrons. So these will have identical bond order. And what bond order? Just like nitrogen, 14 electrons, bond order 3, right? So there are 3 species which are isosters. They have same number of atoms, same number of electrons. They'll also have same bond order, right? At 310 Kelvin, the solubility of calcium fluoride is given in gram per 100 ml. The solubility product is to be calculated. A very simple question. If the solubility in 100 ml is this, then in 1000 ml it will be 10 times, right? Because 100 ml is this, so 1000 ml is 10 times, of course. So the solubility is 2.34 into 10 raised to the power minus 2, right? 10 times of this. So this is the solubility in gram per liter. Let us convert it to molarity. So I would call it S, capital S. So that is 2.34 into 10 raised to the power minus 2 divided by 78. So I think this will cancel by 3, right? Yeah. So this would be 3 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 4 mole, right? Now you know that calcium fluoride, it has 1 cation and it has 2 anions. So what would be the KSP in terms of the solubility? So it is number of cation raised to the power number of cation, right? Number of anion raised to the power number of anion. Molar solubility raised to the power number of cations plus anions, which in this case is 1 plus 2, right? So basically we are going to have 4s cube, right? So 4, and this is this, and cube, right? So 3 cube is 27, 27 to 4 is 108. So this is 108 into 10 raised to the power minus 12. When converted to the power of 10 to minus 8, then 4 places it's going to shift. I think this is going to be this, right? So of course, if you round it off, it will be 0, right? Because if you're rounding off, though, it has to be 0. That is the correct answer. Amongst the following, the number of oxides which are paramagnetic. So again, you have to look for the unpaired electron. So sodium is +1, so this must be monoxide. O2 minus ion, right? Oxide ion is diamagnetic. Potassium is +1, so this must be O2 minus. So let me just Remind you, in oxygen we have 2 unpaired electrons in pi star 2px and pi star 2py, right? 1 electron in each. So this is paramagnetic. In O2 minus, one of the electrons is paired, leaving behind one unpaired electron. Yes, this is also supposed to be paramagnetic. NO2 is paramagnetic because nitrogen has odd number of valence electron, one electron will be there. N2, no, it is evened out, so it will not be. Chlorine again, just like nitrogen, it has odd number of valence electrons, so the 7th electron will remain. So this one is there, this one is there, right? NO will be there because nitrogen has odd electron, right? So how many of them are there? KO2, NO2, ClO2 and NO, right? These are the compounds which are going to be paramagnetic in nature. The molar heat capacity at constant pressure of an ideal gas is given. Change in internal energy is also given, temperature change is also given. So what is the number of moles? So we know that change in internal energy delta U is NCV delta T, right? But CV is not given, CP is given, and we know that for any ideal gas, CP minus CV is equal to R, Myers relation, which clearly means that CV is CP is given, right? So 20.785. So C will be CP minus R. So delta U, it is given 5000 joules. Number of moles, CV will be CP minus R, which is 20.785, right? Minus R, which is 8.314. Going to be a bit of a calculative. And then the change in temperature from 300 to 500, so that is plus 200 change, right? And you can solve this, you can find out what will be the answer. So it's going to be approximately 2 mole, right? 20 ml of 0.02 molar potassium dichromate solution is used for the titration of 10 ml of ferrous solution in the acidic medium. The molarity of ferrous is this, right? So you should know that potassium dichromate consumes a total of 6 electrons because it is reduced to Cr3 plus and there are 2 chromium, right? So what basically we have to take away from here is if you are taking 1 mole of potassium dichromate, then you would need 6 moles of ferrous because ferrous only gives 1 electron, right, per ion. So I can say that number of moles of potassium dichromate, right, divided by number of moles of ferrous, it would be 1 by 6 because its n factor is 6, that is 1, so cross multiply. So potassium dichromate moles and ferrous moles is 1 by 6. If we need 1 mole of potassium dichromate, 6 moles of ferrous. That is simple. Now number of moles is molarity into volume. You can take volume in milliliters because it's a ratio. Milli will cancel out, right? So number of moles of potassium dichromate is molarity into volume, which is 0.02 multiplied by 20 divided by number of moles of ferrous, which is again molarity into volume. Molarity we don't know, and volume is 10 ml, right? So this is 1 by 6. So molarity would be 0.02 into 20 into 6 divided by 10, right? So yeah, we'll get 24 into 10 raised to the power minus 2, right? Okay. Again, here the above reaction has been studied at 800 Kelvin, degree Celsius. The related data are given in the table below. So the reactants are nitric oxide and hydrogen gas, and you have to find out the order of the reaction with respect to one of the reactants, which is nitric oxide. Now if you look at the data, these questions are easiest to do, right? Why? What do we do? How do we find out the order of reaction with respect to reactant is keep the concentration of the other reactant fixed, right? So if you observe, as we go from 2 to 1, the pressure of hydrogen is kept constant, right? It's invariant, but here the pressure of nitric oxide is doubled, right? So I am doubling the pressure of nitric oxide, 20 say 40, right? Let's say the order is X. What is the relative change in the reaction rate? Initial rate earlier was 0.033, now it is 0.135. So you can see it's 4 approximately, right? It's approximately 4. So 2x is 4, so of course x is equal to 2. So there is no calculation required in such question, right? As far as they don't ask the value of rate constant, orders we can find just by looking at the data. So the order of reaction with respect to NO is 2. Alright, so that's all in this chemistry solution, guys. Thank you for watching.
Hello dear students, welcome to Infinity Learn by Sri Chaitanya. Today let us discuss the mathematics part of AITS and Grand Test 7, right? let us start with the first question. You see the equation of the circle, my dear friends. This is the one where G and C are unknowns, right? It passes through the point 6 comma 1, fine, and its center lies on the line x minus 2cy is equal to 8. Then the length of the intercept made by the circle on x-axis. Nothing interesting, I mean to say nothing special data in this, all are routine parts. You see, a circle is passing through 6 comma 1 means you can substitute the point in the circle equation, you will get one linear equation. Just try, this is 36 plus 1 minus 12g, I can say, plus 6 into y, which is 6 minus 19c is equal to 0. So that you are going to get, my dear friends, 12g plus 19c is going to be 42, equation number 1. Second thing, its center lies on the line. What is the center of this circle? You see g comma minus 3. It lies on this line means you can substitute this, you are going to get g plus 6c is going to be 8, my dear friends. So you can say, you just solve these two equations, you are going to get g is equal to 2 and c is equal to minus 1, I can say. You see g is equal to, you can take g is equal to 2, c is minus 1, you can say this is going to be, or else you can just check g is equal to 2, c is equal to 1, will it satisfy? Yes, 24 plus 19 is going to be, you can say 42 kind of, right? So 42 plus 1, it is 43, you just solve, you will get g is equal to 2 and c is equal to 1, right? Now, so numerical part you can simplify, it is not a big deal. Now you know the circle completely. For a standard circle, the length of the intercept made by the circle on x-axis formula is 2 into root of g square minus c. So if you could apply this formula, 2 into root of g is here also in the formula g and here g is the same, that is 2 square minus c is the constant part, that is minus 19c will become plus 19c, my dear friends, which is 2 into root of 4 plus 19 plus 19, which is going to be 2 root 23 is the answer. So in fact it must be 2 root 23, my dear friends. Okay, so this is question number 1. The next question, you see the function f from r to r is defined by, okay, x square plus bx when x less than or equal to 4 and 0 to x integral when x greater than 4. Given f is continuous at x is equal to 4, right, then which of the following statements is not true? Not true, be careful with that. You see, my dear friend, since he said continuity at x is equal to 4, let us write at 4 left hand limit is 16 plus 4b, my dear friends, is equal to right hand limit, which is integral, you see, integral 0 to 4, this is going to be 5 minus mod t minus 3 dt. Now 0 to 4 is the journey of the integral, but mod t minus t is there, you need to break at 3, right? So 16 plus 4b is going to be integral 0 to 3, 5 minus, when 0 to 3 is taken, t minus 3 is negative, so this becomes 3 minus t dt plus integral 3 to 4, I can say t minus 3 itself more, it's positive, you are going to get 5 minus t plus 3, right. So my dear friends, we can say here, of course, dt, you just take this 16 plus 4b is equal to, this is integral 0 to 3 2 plus t dt, and this is integral 3 to 4, this is going to be 8 minus t dt. Now you just complete the integral and just equate, you are going to get b value to be minus 1 by 4, that's all. It's a simple integral you can complete. Once you get b value minus 1 by 4, you can say this expression is x square minus 1 by 4 into x, right. So you can also observe this particular graph, 0 to 4 it is going to be an upper parabola, right, a minus infinity to 4. It is a parabola which turns at minus b by 2a, that is 1 by 8. At 1 by 8 it is going to turn, and there it is going to have 4ac minus b square by 4a. Whereas this graph is taken at 0 to 4, you can say at 0 it is 0, it is upper parabola. At 1 by 8 it takes a minimum value, at 4 it will be like this. So one of the options says f has local minimum at x is equal to 1 by 8 is correct, so that cannot be the right option. And anyhow he is talking about the derivative of the function, differentiability and all, you just take f dash x, my dear friends. So in this case derivative is going to be 2x minus 1 by 4 whenever x less than or equal to 4, and whenever x greater than 4, derivative means Leibniz formula. Derivative with respect to x means you are going to get 5 minus mod x minus 3, in x derivative is 1. As x is greater than 4 case it is, mod x minus 3 will become x minus 3 itself, which becomes 8 minus x, my dear friends. You can just observe, you see f is not differentiable at 4 means you just substitute 4 here, right hand limit is 4 whereas left hand limit is not 4. So not differentiable is true, my dear friends. Fourth option true and last option also true. First option, fourth option are true. And f dash of 3, f dash of 5, you just find f dash of 3 means put x is equal to 3 here, 6 minus 1 by 4, and f dash of 5 means 8 minus 5, which is 3, 9 minus 1 by 4, 35 by 4 is correct. This is also true. So option 3 is the right answer. Because f is increasing in minus infinity to 1 by 8 is absolutely wrong. You see it is decreasing from minus infinity to 1 by 8. So option 3 is the right answer, my dear friends. Okay. Next you come to this question, the plane P passing through the intersection of two mutually perpendicular planes. Given these two planes are first of all mutually perpendicular, so you apply, you see what is the condition for perpendicularity of two planes, a1 a2 plus b1 b2 plus c1 c2 equal to 0, that is 2 into 3k plus k into minus k plus minus 5 into 1 equal to 0. Here you are going to get k values to be some, you see 1 comma 5 kind of, you can substitute, my dear friends, and you will get, but k less than 3 is given, so 5 can be discarded. You can solve this equation, you see minus k square plus 6k minus 5 equal to 0, k square minus 6k plus 5 equal to 0, k must be 1 comma 5, but 5 can be discarded because k less than 3 is given. Now the intercepts a unit of length on positive x axis, then the intercept made by the plane P on y axis. You see, my dear friends, a plane P is passing through the intersection of these two. In the sense, you can take pi 1 plus lambda pi 2 equal to 0 is the general form of any plane passing through the intersection of two planes. So you can take like, as k is known, my dear friends, first plane you can take like 2x plus y minus 5z minus 1 plus lambda into, second plane you can write like 3x minus y plus z minus 5 equal to 0. And hence, my dear friends, you can just take it as 2 plus 3 lambda into x plus 1 minus lambda into y plus, I don't want even, of course z is not so important here, of course you write z plus constant is going to be minus 1 minus 5z is equal to 0. He said this particular plane cuts x axis, intercepts a unit length on positive x axis, then I want the intercept made by the plane P on y axis. He has given some data here and intercepts a unit length, means 1 unit on positive y axis. That means the point, its x intercept is going to be 1, x intercept is minus c by a. So 1 plus 5 lambda, this is going to be 1 plus 5 lambda by 3 lambda plus 2 is going to be 1, my dear friends. From this 2 lambda is equal to, I can say 1, lambda is 1 by 2. Now I just want y intercept, my dear friends. Y intercept is again c by b, that is minus c by b in the sense 1 plus 5 lambda by 1 minus lambda value is the required one. You can just put lambda is equal to 1 by 2, 1 plus 5 by 2 is going to be 7 by 2 by 1 by 2. So, 7 is the answer, my dear friends. That is all, simple problem. Two simple concepts of 3D geometry are used to answer this particular question, right. Next, you see ABC be the vertices of triangle ABC, then PB a point on the side BC, delta 1, delta 2 be the areas of triangle APB, ABC respectively. If delta 1 is to delta 2 is 4:7, then the area enclosed by the lines AP, AC and x axis. You see, my dear friends, ABC in this triangle, A is already given, okay. Now he said P is a point on the side BC, okay. Suppose P is here. Now APB is one triangle, ABC is other triangle. He has given their areas to be 4:7. If this area is 4, total is 7, means it is 3, my dear friends. That means undoubtedly P is dividing BC in the ratio 4:3 internally. So you can find P, my dear friends, because B is -4 comma 3, C is, you can say, -2 comma -5. You just find the point which divides BC in the ratio 4:3 internally. This is -8, this is -12, which is -20 by 7, comma. Second one, -20 plus 9 -11 by 7 is the point P, my dear friends. We got the point P. Now I want a new triangle which is formed by AP line and another one is AC line and x axis. So I need to find these 2 points, my dear friends. Say new line, say Q and R. So AP line, you just find the point where AP divides x axis. Can you find AP line, my dear friends? A is there, P is there. So you can say, my dear friend, try to find the slope. This is 1 plus 11 by 7 by 1 plus 20 by 7, which is, I can say, this is 18 by, this is, you can say, 27. So 2 by 3 is the slope. So 2x minus 3y passing through 1 comma 1 will become -1. So where does this cut x axis? Put y coordinate is 0, my dear friends. So 2x is -1, this is going to be -1 by 2. So one point is -1 by 2 comma 0. In the same way, you need to find AC equation. You see, 1 minus slope of this is 6 by 3, which is 2, my dear friends. So you can take 2x minus y passing through 1 comma 1 is going to be, we can say, 1. You just see where it cuts x axis, my dear friends. Put y coordinate is 0, x is again here 1 by 2. So this point is 1 by 2 comma 0. So A point is 1 comma 1. Now you know A, P, B, A, Q, R. You can find the points, my dear friends. You can find the area of the triangle formed by, you see, 1 comma 1, this is -1 by 2 comma 0, this is 1 by 2 comma 0. You can apply a shortcut even. You can subtract 1 by, or you can subtract 1 comma 1 from all, or 1 by 2, 0 you subtract, this becomes 1 by 2 comma 1. If you subtract 1 by 2, this is -1 comma 0, this is 0, 0. Now you can apply half modulus x1 y2 minus x2 y1. This is -1, which is 1 by 2 is the area, my dear friend, that you are going to get. Simple geometry. This is all straight ends. If you have basic knowledge, you can easily answer this particular question, right? Next, you see a vertical tower AB of height 2h. You just see, my dear friends, this is the vertical tower AB of height 2h, okay, on a horizontal ground. Let a point P be on the ground. A man can see up to height h of the tower with an angle of elevation 2 alpha. That means from this point he has seen a height h with an angle of elevation of 2 alpha, right. The next, when from P he moves a distance d in the direction of AP bar. AP bar means in the same direction he moved some distance, say x. Now, yeah, a distance d he has given, this distance d is given, okay. Then he can see the top B of the tower with an angle of elevation of alpha. From here the top angle of elevation is going to be alpha, my dear friends, and given d is nothing but root 7 into h. Now then tan alpha is equal to, simple my dear friends, suppose this distance is x, you just take tan 2 alpha is equal to h by x. Second one, tan alpha is going to be, you can say 2h by x plus d, my dear friends. Try to eliminate x. So here x is nothing but h by tan 2 alpha, and you can say, and here you can write x plus d as 2h by tan alpha. Of course d is given as root 7h. So you can replace, my dear friends, h by tan 2 alpha plus d is going to be root 7h is equal to 2h by tan alpha, my dear friends. Here you can cancel h, so you got an equation in tan alpha alone. Suppose tan alpha is t, it is going to be 2t by 1 minus t square plus root 7 is equal to 2 by t, my dear friends. Now you just multiply with 2t, you are going to get a quadratic equation, my dear friends. This is 1 minus t square plus 2 root 7t is equal to, it is going to be 4. So t square minus 2 root 7 into t, you can say like plus 3 is equal to 0. You can solve this equation, you are going to get two values for t, one of them is going to be root 7 minus 2, that is all, simple question. Next, you see, given a statements related question, given here completely R he is asking about, R is equivalent to, which is also in terms of P and Q. So better you take only two variables P, Q. So negation P, negation Q, combination also P. So you will get four cases, true, 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 false, false, true, false, false. In all these cases negation P is going to be false, false, true, true. Negation Q is going to be false, true, false, true. Now you try to compute this, my dear friends, P and negation Q. P and negation Q is false, true, false, false. Now this by implies, now friends, we have to get ultimately negation P. Equivalent to negation P means finally I have to get TTFF, my dear friends. TTFF means undoubtedly it must be F to get T, it must be T because by implies must be same. So this must be F, this must be, you see, we have to get true, we have by implies, true we have to get means false. This is here all you have to get true means this. If this is false, it must be true, my dear friends. If this is false, it must be true. We are correct. F, T, T, T. Which one it could be, friends? F, T, T, T. You just check which matches with this part, and this should be like P and R. You just check with. This must be P and R. So this is the one we got. This particular statement we have got. So this box by implies P and R should be this, my dear friends. P and R should be F, T, T, F. So first option, you see, P and P will always be true. This cannot be. P and negation P is always false. This cannot be. You just check P and Q, my dear friends. This is P and which one matches with negation P, my dear friends. So here it should not match with P. You have to observe one point here that you see, yeah, it should match with, you see, not P. I can say negation P. Negation P is this in the sense. So these will change. You just check once. You see how I am trying. You can also write all the truth tables and you can do. So I have to get here negation P. Negation P is FFTT should be. FFTT in the sense P and R should be like, for by implies I have to get false means it should be true. False means it should be false. True means it should be same. True means it should be same. So P and R must be like T, F, F. You see P and Q, you just see this is true, false, false, false. So Q option perfectly matches with the answer, right? Or else you simply write the truth table for all the cases. But one thing is clear, P and P is always true, but this statement is not true. Negation P. And P and negation P is always false. This is not always false. So your trials are minimized, only 2 trials you can do, right? That is also one way. But anything statements related question or mathematical reasoning related question is important and easy. You can definitely attempt the question. It may take little time, but you will definitely get the answer. Next, my dear friends, you see, it's a simple question. A bar is given, B bar is given. Of course, there are unknowns alpha, beta here. Now, given this triple product, vector triple product, some simplification he is asking. It is a simple and direct question, my dear friends. So, I think you know A bar cross B bar cross C bar, you know by definition C bar dot A bar into B bar minus C bar dot B bar into A bar. That is all. You just apply this, my dear friends. I dot A is going to be 2 into B bar, you see, into B bar minus I dot B is going to be beta. I dot B is going to be, sorry, I dot B bar is going to be alpha into you are going to get A bar. So, my dear friends, this is A bar. This dot K cap is 23 by 2. So, twice B bar is going to be, my dear friends, 2 alpha, 2 beta, 4 minus alpha A bar is going to be 2 alpha, we can say minus alpha, this is 5 alpha, this is. Alpha A bar is 2 alpha minus alpha 5 alpha. This dot K cap, my dear friends, so you can write this is 0, this is 2 beta plus alpha, this is 4 minus 5 alpha, dot K cap is 23 by 2. Dot K cap is going to be 4 minus 5 alpha is 23 by 2, my dear friends. So, 5 alpha is going to be 8 minus 23, which is minus 15 by 2, alpha is minus 3 by 2, my dear friends. Once you know alpha value, B cross, you can simply find B bar cross, we can say 2J cap bar. So, once you know alpha, my dear friends, you can just try with B bar is alpha beta 2K. You can also try here, my dear friends, you just try. This is I cap, J cap, K cap. B bar is nothing but alpha, beta and 2. 2J cap is going to be 0 to 1. So, 0 to 0, my dear friends. So, you are going to get this particular vector's magnitude we want, my dear friends, and any other data is provided. So, of course, no, you just expand from this, you are going to get the answer. Just definitions are enough to answer this particular question, my dear friends. Okay. While writing I cap, beta is not required. While writing K cap, you can write beta is not required. For J cap also, you do not require. Beta is not at all required. From alpha itself, you can find its magnitude, my dear friends. Okay. Next, let S be the sample space of all 5-digit numbers. You see, 5-digit numbers start from 10,000, my dear friends, to 99,999, which contain 90,000 5-digit numbers, right. This is the sample space. The randomly selected at S a multiple of 7 but not divisible by 5. That means I just want which are multiples of 7 but not divisible by 5. How many multiples of 7 will be there? You just divide with 7, you can observe that 10,003 is the first multiple of 7, my dear friends. So, then you are going to get 99,995 is going to be the last multiple of 7. You just see this is an AP with first term this and common difference 7, and I just want to know nth term. Nth term is A plus n minus 1 into D is equal to 99,995. So, A is known 10,003, my dear friends. You just divide this with 7 plus 1, my dear friends. Number of terms in an AP when n terms are given is 99,995 minus 10,003 by, you can write 7 plus 1, my dear friends. So this is going to be 12857. So these are the numbers. Of these, there are multiples of 5 also. That means 7 and 5 are relatively prime. So multiples of 35 are there. In the same way, you just take multiples of 35 in this, my dear friends. You just check how many multiples of 35 are there. So you are going to get, you see, 2572 multiples of 35 in the same list. So now out of these, I need to remove these, my dear friends. You are going to get finally, so this is 5, this is 15 minus 7 is 8, that is 7 minus 5 is 2, this is, we can say, friends, 10,285 numbers will be out of 90,000. So by first principle, I mean simple probability definition, the first definition, I can say that the probability is 10,285 by 90,000, my dear friends. So from a sample space, we can say, so this is going to be P, my dear friends, P. He said it is 9P, he said. So multiply with 9 on both sides by 10,000, 1.0285 is the answer. That's it. Okay. Next, my dear friends, let A comma B be a point on the parabola y square is equal to 8x such that the tangent at P passes through the center of the circle. Okay, so it is a standard parabola y square is equal to 4ax. Of course, a is equal to 2. General point you can take like at square comma 2at, that is, this is 2t square comma 4t is the general point. And tangent to this curve at this point is yt is equal to x plus at square. I think you know yt is equal to x plus at square is the tangent. Now this particular tangent passes through the center of the circle, which is going to be 5 comma 7. Substitute, friends, 7t is equal to 5 plus 2t square, which is a quadratic equation. 2t square minus 7t plus 5 equal to 0. T is equal to 1 is a root, other root is 5 by 2. Yes. So he said the product of all possible values of A, let A be the product of all possible values of A. That means this is the point. When t is equal to 1, my dear friends, this point will become 2 because A is 2. This point will become, this is 2t, which is, we can also say here 2 comma 4. Another possibility is when A is 5 by 2, so A t square 25 by 4, so 25 by 2, comma 2at, that is 4t, my dear friends. 2 gets cancelled, 2 5s are 10, this is right. So this is the one, friends. He said now let capital A be the product of all possible values of small a. There are 2 possible values, their product is 25, and capital B is product of all possible values of B. This product is 40, my dear friends. 40 plus 25, 65 is the answer. Simple question. Next, this is also working related. So A bar is given, B bar is given, be 2 vectors such that A cross B is given, my dear friends. So if you just find A cross B and equate this, you will get alpha value, beta value, step 1. Next, the length of projection of one vector on second vector. So friends, the logic, the formula is projection of B bar on A bar is B bar dot A bar by magnitude of A bar, my dear friends. So what you need is B bar minus 2A bar dot B bar plus A bar by magnitude of B bar plus A bar is the required one. So my dear friends, B bar dot B bar is magnitude of B bar square minus A dot B minus 2A dot B. So plus minus is minus A bar dot B bar minus 2 magnitude of A bar square by, my dear friends, magnitude of B bar plus A bar. So now this is all simple, my dear friends. If you could find alpha and beta, all the terms you can find. How to find alpha and beta? A cross B, you just take I cap, J cap, K cap, alpha 1 beta 3 minus 5 4. You just try, my dear friends. I cap into, this is 4 plus 5 beta minus J cap into 4 alpha minus 3 beta plus K cap into minus 5 alpha minus 3. Yes, this is the vector, my dear friends. This you need to equate with this. So 4 plus 5 beta is going to be minus 1. So beta is, we can say, minus 1, my dear friends. And 4 alpha, we can say minus 3 beta with minus of, okay. 4 alpha minus 3 beta must be minus 9, my dear friends. As you know, beta is minus 1, 3 you take that side, 4 alpha is minus 12, alpha is minus 3. You know alpha and beta, my dear friends. So you know A bar completely, B bar completely. We can easily find A bar plus B bar and its magnitude. Magnitude of B bar square, A bar square, dot product. You just substitute, you will get the answer, my dear friends. Okay. Next, you see the area of the smaller region enclosed by the curves y square is equal to 8x plus 4. In fact, y square is equal to 4 into, you can say 8 into x plus 1 by 2, my dear friend. This is another circle equation you can write like x plus 2 root 3 whole square. You see x square plus 4 root 3 x plus 12 is added plus y square is equal to 4 square. This is a circle, my dear friends. You can observe here. This circle is a center with minus 2 root 3 center and radius 4. This is the circle and this is minus 2 root 3. Whereas this is going to be a right parabola whose vertex is minus 1 by 2 will be here, my dear friends. Minus 1 by 2. You can solve these two if you put this is going to be y is equal to 0, x is equal to 0. If you put x is equal to 0, y square is going to be 8 by 2 which is 4, y is plus or minus 2. Here also you put x is equal to 0, this is 12, y square is equal to 4, x is plus or minus 2. So both the curves are going to intersect on y axis at the same point 2 comma minus 2. I just want the area of the smaller region inscribed here. That means this area plus this area I want. So one thing is very clear, if you could find this area and double it, this area and double it is also fine, but these are compatible on y axis. So my dear friends, this is right of y axis, this is left of y axis. So this part, you know, this is a circle having put y is equal to 0, you can say, my dear friends, this is x plus 2 root 3 whole square is equal to 4, you can write. So x is going to be, you see, my dear friends, this is the point where it is on y axis we are doing, so no issue, 0. You can write integral 0 to 2, this circle equation in terms of y, my dear friends, you can write 16 minus y square under root minus 2 root 3 dy. So this area, double of this you are going to get, plus integral 0 to 2, my dear friends, this curve in terms of y, y square by 8 minus 1 by 2, but this is left side means you will definitely get negative, you put modulus dy here and twice we have to write. If you can easily evaluate this particular integral, you will get the answer for this, right? Simple question. Next, y1 of x, y2 of x are two distinct solutions of the differential equation dy by dx is x plus y. This is a LDE, right? You can write dy by dx minus x is equal to, you see, minus y is equal to x, my dear friends. Integrating factor is e power integral p dx, which is e power minus x. So the solution is y into integrating factor is integral of integrating factor e power minus x into x dx. For easiness, let me take e power minus x d of minus x you treat, my dear friends. So if you just treat e power minus x as t, e power t into t dt, e power t into t minus 1 plus c, which is, my dear friends, you are going to get y into e power minus x is, you can write minus of e power minus x into x plus 1 plus c. This is the solution. Now first solution is such that when x is 0, y is 0. Put x is 0, this you can further simplify like minus of x plus 1 plus e power x. I have multiplied with e power x, my dear friends. Put x is 0, y is 0, you put 0, this is minus 1 plus 1. That means c e power x, sorry. So now you are going to get e power 0 1 into c. I can say, friends, c is equal to 1. That means when c is equal to 1, the equation is like y is equal to minus x minus 1 plus e power x. This is going to be y1, my dear friends. Then similarly, second curve is such that y2 of 0 is 1. So you can say here 1 is equal to, you put 0, this is minus 1 plus c into e power 0 is 1, c is equal to 2, my dear friends. That means y2 is nothing but minus x minus 1 plus 2 e power x. Now he is asking the number of points of intersection of these two curves. You just equate these two, you will get e power x is equal to e power 2x, which is impossible. You see, these two curves point of intersection, if you just see, my dear friends, so that means, so x is equal to number of points of intersection of these you are going to get, my dear friends. E power x minus 1, these two should be equal to e power x, sorry, e power x is equal to 2 e power x. That means e power x is equal to 0, which is impossible, no solution. So we can say number of solutions is 0. Next, my dear friends, you see this question, f of x is a sin of pi into step x by 2, step of 2 minus x, where step x is the greatest integer function less than or equal to. You see, given this limit exists, so limit x tends to minus 1, right hand side, one limit you try take, friends, minus 1 plus h is minus 0.999, whose step is minus 1, my dear friends. So this is going to be, so if you take here, this limit is going to be a into sin of minus pi by 2 is going to be, you see, this is minus 1. So sin of minus pi by 2 will become minus sin pi by 2, which is minus 1, and this is 2 minus of, I can say, minus 0.999. So this is 2 plus 0.999, whose step is 2, my dear friends, which is, I can say, 2 minus a. Limit x tends to minus 1 minus, that is minus 1.001, whose step is minus 2, 2 gets cancelled, this becomes 0. This is 2 minus 1.11 means 3 point something, it is going to be 3, my dear friends. So he said it is continuous, so a is going to be minus 1. So a value you got, my dear friends. Once you know a value, yeah, he is asking us to find integral 0 to 4 f of x is going to be, fine. So this is minus sin of pi into step x by 2 plus step of 2 minus x, or 2 minus, you can also write 2 minus step x also you can write dx, my dear friends. This is not a big deal because this function is completely known, integral 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 you can split. Moreover, step of 2 minus x, 0 to 1, step is fixed number, you can also write it as 2 minus step x, my dear friends. 2 integral you can find minus step x integral 0 to 1 it is 0, 1 to 2 it is 1, 2 to 3 it is 2, 3 to 4 it is 3, that you can write. And this part also, when x is 0 to 1, step x is strictly 0, this becomes 0. 0 to 1, step x is strictly 1. So sin pi by 2 is a number, you can write sin pi by 2 which is 1, that is minus 1 into, you can write 2 minus 1. Here also 2 to 3, step x is 2, my dear friends, so this becomes 0. 3 to 4 it is 3, like that you can easily find the integral, you are going to get the answer, my dear friends, right. Next, you see this integral, you can observe that this is going to be increasing function by taking the derivative. Once you observe that, see pi by 4 is less than this function, you take it as f of x. So f of x is less than pi by 6. So that means, I mean to say, here, yeah, I am taking this part as f of x. By taking derivative, we observe that f dash x will be positive, so f is increasing in this particular integral pi by 4 to pi by 3. So what I do is, I am taking x in the interval pi by 4 less than x less than pi by 3. So f of pi by 4 is definitely less than f of x is less than f of pi by 3. So I am focusing on, you see, so 5 pi by 12, 3 pi by 4, it is like, so I can say, my dear friends, f of pi by 4 is going to be in fact sin 8 by root 2 minus sin 90 is 1 by pi by 4, which is, my dear friends, I can say this is 4 root 2 minus 1 by pi by 4. So this is less than f of x, my dear friends, in this particular integral. So f of x is greater than 4 root 2 minus 1 by pi by 4, which is greater than, my dear friends, 4 root 2 minus 1 by 1 I write, because pi by 4 is 3 by 4.75. I increased the denominator, the value is little more smaller, right. So I can say, my dear friends, 4 root 2 minus 1. So now I can write 4 root 2 minus 1 is less than f of x in this particular integral interval. Especially you just take the integral 0 to, I mean to say, pi by 4 to pi by 3, here dx, here also pi by 4 to pi by 3 dx. So this is I, my dear friends, I is greater than 4 root 2 minus 1 into integral dx is x, pi by 3 minus pi by 4 is pi by 12, and this is approx 1 point, I can say this is greater than 1.4 into 4, 5.6 minus 1 is point, kind of it is, which I can say it is greater than 5 pi by 12. So this is going to be, yeah, greater than 5 pi by, this is greater than 5 pi by 12, it is 5 pi by 12. So thus we can say that this I value is greater than 5 pi by 12. So we can approximate this value to be third option, okay. But to prove all the things, it takes little time, but time being you can do this problem in this way, okay. Next, so the remainder when this is divided by 7, in the sense, my dear friends, I already told you, so whenever you want the remainder, when the problem is given in exponents, you can just replace, always replace with denominator, I mean the remainders, the base can be replaced by the remainders. If you just divide this with 7, you will get remainder 5 in the sense, which is minus 2, minus 2 power 2022, this is congruent to, plus this is minus 1 power 2021. Of course this is minus 1 because it is odd number. Minus 2 means anyhow even number is there, 2 power 2022. This is multiple of 3, 2 cube power plus minus 1. This is 8 can again be replaced with 1 because I am dividing with 7. 1 power 674 plus minus 1, we can say 1 minus 1 is 0. So this number when divided by 7, the remainder is 0, my dear friends. Next, you see a1, a2, an, b and arithmetic progression of natural numbers. If the ratio of sum of the first 5 terms, this is simple friends, sum of the first 5 terms n by 2 into 2a plus 4d, right. This is given this, as well as sum of first 9 terms, which is 9 by 2 into 2a plus 8d, this is given as 5 by 17. Of course 2 gets cancelled, 5 gets cancelled, you can say 17 into 2a plus 4d is equal to 18a plus 72d, my dear friends. So this is 34a, I can say. So 16a is equal to 68, it is, my dear friends. So we can say 68, which is 4d. So from this d is equal to 4a is the simple 4a, my dear friends. This is the observation. Now he has given 110 less than a15 less than 120. So 110 less than a15 means A plus 14D is less than 120, you can say 110 is less than, A can be replaced by, or D can be replaced by 4A, or you can eliminate D, D you can write 4A. So, A plus 14 into, you can write 4A is less than 120. 57, 100 is less than 57A is less than 120, my dear friends. From this you can observe that it is slightly 1 point something, this is 2 point something, right. So, definitely A is arithmetic progression of natural numbers. So, 1 point something is less than, A is less than 2 point something means A must be 2, my dear friends. So, you got A value and hence D is nothing but 8. Now, the sum of first 10 terms of the progression you can easily find. S10 is 10 by 2 into 2A plus 10 minus 1 into D is going to be 4 to the 8. Okay. You are going to get the answer, my dear friends, that is all. Next, the minimum value of this particular expression is attained at Z is equal to Z naught, that minimum value is V naught. So, my dear friends, what you can do is let Z is equal to x plus iy, V expression is x square plus y square, this is x minus 3 whole square plus y square, this is because Z minus 3 plus this is x square plus y minus 6 whole square, my dear friends. So, which is finally you can simplify this, my dear friends, like you see this is 2x square, you can further simplify this, my dear friends. This is 2x square plus 2y square plus x square minus 6x plus 9 plus y square minus 12y plus 36, you are going to get, yeah. So, my dear friends, in this particular expression he can observe, like you see this is going to be the minimum value of this is going to be, this is y minus 6 whole square 36 plus 9, my dear friends. You try to rearrange this 3x square plus 3y square minus 6x minus 12y, we can say 45. So, friends, 3 into you see x square minus 6x, no, you just write x minus 1 whole square plus 3 into y minus 4 whole square. You see 4 means y minus 2 whole square. You just write, my dear friends, you will get 30 here if you rearrange. This is a simple expression. Now, you see undoubtedly its minimum value is 30 and that is possible at x is equal to 1, y is equal to 2. That means, my dear friend, z naught is going to be 1 comma 2 and v naught is going to be 30. You just substitute here, you will get the answer. That is it. Next, you see A is a matrix. If you are given such an expression, very clear it is characteristic equation, that is consider det of A minus lambda I is equal to 0, det of 1 minus lambda 2 minus 2 minus 5 minus lambda is equal to 0. That is, my dear friends, 1 minus lambda into minus of 5 plus lambda plus 4 equal to 0, which is I can say, my dear friends, this is lambda plus 5 into lambda minus 1 plus 4 equal to 0. So, lambda square you can say plus 4 lambda minus 5 plus 1 is minus 1 equal to 0. So, every square matrix satisfies its characteristic equation. So, A square plus 4A minus I equal to 0, but he has given is equal to 2I, multiply with 2, you will get 2A square plus 8A minus 2I equal to 0. He has given alpha A square plus beta A minus 2I equal to 0. Alpha plus beta is 2 plus 8, 10 is the answer. Or else, my dear friends, for a 2 by 2 matrix, you know the characteristic equation generally gets like A square minus trace of A into A plus det A into I equal to 0. You can also write directly. You see, trace of A is minus 4, minus of minus 4 you got plus 4 here, and det is, see, minus 5 plus 4 which is minus 1, minus 1 into I, that is what you got. So, directly also you can do, my dear friends. Next, you see there are two relations A R1 B if and only if AB greater than or equal to 0, and A are to be if and only if AB greater than or equal to B. Now friends, first relation is equivalence because A related to B is very clear, A square greater than or equal to 0 for real numbers, right. Symmetric because if AB greater than or equal to 0, undoubtedly BA is also greater than or equal to 0. Transitive because suppose AB greater than or equal to 0, BC greater than or equal to 0, you just multiply AB square C greater than or equal to 0, AC must be greater than or equal to 0. So first relation is equivalence. Second relation, A greater than or equal to B fails at symmetry because 4 greater than or equal to 3, it does not imply 3 greater than or equal to 4. So R1 is equivalence whereas R2 is not. Okay. Next, my dear friends, you see this function f of alpha, f of A is given as alpha, where alpha is the maximum of powers of those primes P such that P power A divides A. That means if A is written like prime factorization of those prime numbers, you have to take the highest power, right. And g of A is given as A plus 1, he is talking about the function f plus g. Let me give a counter example where it fails. Suppose friends, f plus g of 4 you take, so which is f of 4 plus g of 4, and f of 4 is f of 2 square, my dear friends. G of 4 is anyhow 4 plus 1 5. G of 2 square means the highest prime number that it divides power is 2, 2 plus 5 is 7. You just consider f plus g of 5, which is f of 5 plus g of 5. So f of 5 is a prime number, highest p power alpha that divides is 5 itself. So here it is 1 plus this is going to be 6, which is 7. So 4 and 5 are mapped to the same number 7, so it is not 1 1, and that too, and its domain is having more than 1, that means 2 3 4, and g of 2 will be 3 minimum, the others will be natural numbers. So you see the codomain will have more than 2, 3 4 5, but whereas you see this is range will have more than 2, 3 4 5 possibly, range can never be, I mean 2 can never be in the range, the element 2 cannot have preimage because anyhow 1 is not there in the domain. If you give 2, g of 2 will be 3 and f of 2 must be 1, so it is more than 2, whereas codomain is n, so codomain can never be equal to range, so this cannot be onto, my dear friends, neither 1 1 nor onto is the answer. Next, my dear friends, if the length of the lattice rectum of the ellipse is 4, you see my dear friends, you can rearrange this particular ellipse like x plus 1 whole square plus 4 into, you can write y square plus 2y, right. So y plus 1 whole square is equal to lambda, you can write plus 5, can we write? You see x square plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 4 into y square plus 2y plus 1. So my dear friends, this is x plus 1 whole square by lambda plus 5 plus 4 into y plus 1 whole square by lambda plus 5 is equal to 1. You can write this, my dear friends. This is the ellipse. He said I is the length of the major axis, lambda plus I he is asking about. So he said the length of the lattice rectum of the ellipse is 4. So undoubtedly this is greater, here a greater than b, a square is equal to lambda plus 5, b square is equal to lambda plus 5 by 4, length of the lattice rectum is 2b square by a, which is 2 times lambda plus 5 by 4 by a is going to be root of lambda plus 5, my dear friends. This is given as 4, this is given as 4, you can say root of lambda plus 5 is equal to 8, my dear friends. So you can say, so this is 2 4s are 8, so lambda plus 5 is 64, so lambda is going to be 59. So he is asking about lambda, which is 59, and I is the length of the major axis. So undoubtedly a square is lambda plus 5, 2a, which is 2 into root of lambda plus 5 is the So this is going to be lambda plus 5 is 8, 2 into 8 which is 16 my dear friends. So I can say this is going to be 16, 59 plus 16 is going to be the answer my dear friends. So 75 may be the answer, right? 75, 59 plus 16, 75, right? Next, you see this is another complex number related question. Let z is equal to x plus iy. So z is x plus iy whole square plus x minus iy is equal to 0 my dear friends. So it's simple, you just take x square minus y square plus 2xyi plus x minus iy is equal to 0. So real part is x square minus y square plus x plus I into 2xy minus y equal to 0. If this complex number is 0, you have to get x square minus y square plus x is 0 and this must be 0, that is y is equal to 0 or 2x my x is equal to 1 by 2 my dear friends. If you put y is equal to 0, in this case you will get x square plus x is equal to 1. So x is equal to 0 or minus 1. If x is 1 by 2 is kept, 1 by 4 plus 1 by 2, y square is going to be 3 by 4, y must be plus or minus root 3 by 2. Finally, you are going to get my dear friends 0 0 and minus 1 0. The next one x 1 by 2, y is root 3 by 2 and x 1 by 2 you can say y is minus root 3 by 2. He is just taking sum of all real parts of z and imaginary parts of z. This is 0 and this is 0. Final answer is big 0. That's it. Next, you see friends, this is the one. So f of x is given 2x square minus x minus 1 and s is given as mod f of n less than or equal to 800. That is my dear friends, minus 800 less than f of n is less than 800, of course equal to, and here you can see this is minus 800 less than or equal to 2n square minus n minus 1 less than or equal to 800. You can just observe this is like minus 19 less than or equal to n less than or equal to 20. Just give trial and error way, you will get. So 1 by 10 into sigma of 2n square, you can say minus n minus 1 for minus 19 to 20 my dear friends, which is 1 by 10 into 2 into, you see 19 square, 18 square and so on 20 square, you can write like already here, this is 1 square to 19 square 2 times plus 20 square you will get. Here minus of, if you apply sigma to n, minus 19 to 20, you will be left with 20 only. Minus of 1 is added 39 times, of course 40 times, because 20 and 0 is also there. 40 times you are going to get, which is going to be, we can say 0. Now you just simplify, you are going to get the answer. That's it. Next my dear friends, let's set of contains all 3 by 3 matrices with entries minus 1 comma 0. The number of matrices A belongs to S such that the sum of diagonal elements of A transpose into A. It's very important model in the recent exams in last year mains as well as before year advance also the same model question appeared. My dear friends, one observation is if you just take A transpose into A trace, it is nothing but sum of the squares of all entries of the matrix my dear friends. That means if A is having A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, you will get A square plus B square and so on I square. So here what we are going to get is, I want those matrices with the entries minus 1 0 where he is asking such that the sum of all the diagonal elements of A transpose is equal to into A is equal to 6. That means sum of all the diagonal elements of A transpose into A. Yeah, that means if you just take, the matrix A should be such a way that sum of the trace, that means the trace of this must be 6 in the sense sum of all the entries square must be 6 my dear friends. So how can you take sum of all entries square? 6 in the sense friends, you can take 6 ones, 3 zeros. In how many ways you can arrange? 6 factorial, sorry, total 9 factorial by 6 factorial into 3 factorial. Okay, 6 ones, 3 zeros. Or why don't you take, yeah, here you can take, yeah, 5, this is 4, 5, 6, yeah, 5 ones, 1 minus 1, 3 zeros, my dear friends. Yes, this is, you can take like 9 factorial by 5 factorial into 1 factorial into 3 factorial. This is another combination. Ultimately, there must be 6 1 or minus 1s, other 3 places must be zeros. Then only you will get sum of those squares is going to be 6. So, you can also take next 4 ones, 2 minus 1s, and of course 3 zeros, which is 9 factorial by 4 factorial into 2 factorial into, you can say, my dear friends, this is 3 factorial, like this. So, you can just take 1 by 3 factorial, you can just write all the combinations. See, no minus 1s, 1 minus 1, 2 minus 1s, the last case will be all minus 1s, 6 minus 1s and 3 zeros. You just add all the cases, you are going to get the answer, that is it. Next friends, this is the differential equation where you are going to get, my dear friends, you see, just divide the entire equation with dx. So, you are going to get LDE like dy by dx plus 4xy by, you just even divide this with sine of 2x square into ln of tan x square is equal to 4 root 2 into x into, you can write sine of x square minus pi by 4. This is the equation. Just you take x square as t, so that 2x dx will become dt, my dear friends. So, that dy, you just even divide with, you can write 2x here, 2x, 2x and divided by 2x. So, that 2x dx will become dt, here 2x get cancelled, 2y. So, of course, y by, you can write 2y, no, y by 2 sin t, sin 2t, you write 2 sin t cos t, 2 gets cancelled, this is going to be sin t cos t into log of tan t, my dear friends, is equal to, x got cancelled, 2 root 2 into, you can just expand sin t minus pi by 4, sin t into 1 by root 2 minus cos t into 1 by root 2. My dear friends, 2 already got cancelled. So, now root 2 can also be cancelled, my dear friends, here. Now, in this stage, you just take, try to find, you see, integrating factor, e power integral, this is p, my dear friends, integral p of t dt, you just find, you will get, it is going to be log of tan t, you are going to get, my dear friends. Ln log t if you get, you can just find the general solution, y into, you can write integrating factor, that is ln of tan t is equal to integral of, you see, integrating factor ln tan t should also be divided here, my dear friends. This should be even, I have divided this particular expression, where is that, this expression. You should also write here, my dear friends, this is sin 2t into ln of t, ln of tan t. If you could write that, this is going to be, here also the same part will be there. So, 2 sin t con t, 2 also got cancelled, you got sin t minus cos t by, you are going to get 2 sin t cos t, so that you will get sin t cos t into dt, because this part got cancelled. Now, you just separate integral, you will get secant t minus tan t. So, finally, y into ln tan t is equal to, you will get y into ln tan t is equal to integral secant t minus tan t, in the sense integral secant x is log mod secant x minus tan x. So, minus integral cosecant is x, integral cosecant x minus cot x. So, you will get log mod secant t plus tan t by cosecant t minus cot t plus c, you will get. and here he has given a point when x is root of pi by 2 and t will become pi by 2. The point will be pi by 2 comma 1. So, this point is given, you can just substitute, this is given root pi by 6 comma 1 is, the point is pi by 6 comma 1 it is going to be. If you substitute, you will get c value. So, y is known. Now, you just substitute x root of pi by 3 means t you have to substitute pi by 3, you will get the value to be 1, my dear friends. Okay? It is LDE. Next, you see this particular question, m and n be the points on the curve where the tangents to the curve are parallel to x axis as well as y axis, you see. So, this is y power 5 minus 9xy plus 2x is equal to 0. Just take its derivative, my dear friends. 5y power 4 into y dash minus 9 into u derivative of v plus v derivative of u plus 2 is equal to 0. So, y dash is finally going to be, you see, minus 2, this is minus 9y will become plus 9y by, here y dash is 5y power 4, you can say minus 9x, minus 9x. So, y dash is going to be 9y minus 2 by 5y power 4, we can say, my dear friends, minus 9x. You just see, my dear friends, so tangent parallel to, check with the calculation properly, and you just do derivative tangent parallel to x axis means derivative make it equal to 0. If you put y is equal to 2 by 9, if you put 2 by 9, my dear friends, if you put y is equal to 2 by 9, you will get minus 2x plus 2x got cancelled, you will get, you won't get y is equal to 0, but y is 2 by 9, not possible. Y dash is equal to 0 is impossible, because if you put y is equal to 2 by 9, minus 2x plus 2x got cancelled, y power 5 is 0 means y 0, but y is 2 by 9, so not possible. So, and y dash is not defined in the sense parallel to y axis case, denominator must be 0, 5y power 4 is equal to 9x, my dear friends. So, you just substitute x is equal to 5y power 4 by 9 in the original equation, you will get two values for y. So, accordingly x 2 values. So, m is going to be 0, n is going to be 2, final answer is going to be 2, my dear friends. Next, this is, this line intersect the plane containing first line and this is the line, this is, line is given in unsymmetric form. So, then the value of alpha plus beta plus gamma. Here I want to find a line, this particular line intersects the plane containing one line and second line. So, the second line can I take like, you see this is like in unsymmetric form, can I take like 2x minus 5y minus z minus 3 plus lambda into, this will be the plane containing the particular line. This is 4ax minus y plus 5z minus 7a equal to 0. Undoubtedly, this will be the plane containing this line, as well as now it has to contain this line also. Take one point on the line, that is 4 minus 1 0 must also be there in this plane. Substitute, friends, this is 8 plus 5 minus 3 plus lambda into, this is 12a, this is going to be minus 1 is plus 1 plus 0 minus 7a is equal to 0. So, which is, my dear friends, 10 plus lambda into 5a plus 1 equal to 0. Moreover, my dear friends, I can say one more point we can find, we need to find. You see, this is the plane containing this line, in the sense the plane normal drs, you can arrange it like x coefficient and this particular line normal drs are 1 minus 2 1. If you apply dot product is equal to 0, you will get one more condition in lambda and a, you can find lambda value and a value perfectly, so that you can find this plane completely. I think you got my point. Let the plane passing through this line I have taken like pi 1 plus lambda pi 2 is equal to 0. You rearrange it, it has to pass through so and so point, this particular point, because this plane is containing this line also. This point is substitute, you will get one condition in lambda and A. The other one is this line normal dr, this line drs and plane normal drs will be in terms of lambda and A. You apply dot product is equal to 0, you will get another condition. Solve these, you are going to get A value and lambda value. So, you will get this plane completely. Once this is known, you just want the point of intersection of this line and plane. You just take the general point of this particular line, 7t plus 3 minus t plus 2 minus 4t plus 3. You substitute in the plane, you will get t value, and once t is known, this is alpha, this is beta, this is gamma. So, alpha plus beta plus gamma you just find, that is it. Next, my dear friends, you see this particular ellipse passes through the vertices of the hyperbola. You see this is conjugate hyperbola. It is like, you see, y square by 64 minus x square by 49 is equal to 1. This hyperbola will be like this. So, its transverse axis is going to be like y axis. So, the vertices are going to be 0 comma plus or minus 8. Now, so moreover the eccentricity of the hyperbola is going to be 64 plus 49 by 64, my dear friends, that is root of, I can say this is 3, this is 113, right, 113 by 64, which is root 113 by 8, my dear friends. And he has given for the ellipse the product of the eccentricities is 1 by 2. So, E1 into E2 is 1 by 2. Yeah. So, you can say E1 is equal to 1 by 2 into 8 by root 113, which is 4 by root 113 it is going to be. Friends, for our ellipse he said the major and minor axis of this coincides with the transverse, and so for our ellipse also this is going to be the major axis. So, I can say, my dear friends, here 2a is going to be, you can say, my dear friends, here it is going to be, you see, the major axis and minor axis. The major axis and minor axis of the ellipse coincide with the transverse and conjugate axis. So, for this is the transverse axis, this is major axis, my dear friends. So, you can find from this is going to be, I can say, maybe the case where a less than b, you can write b square is equal to, you see, 2b is equal to, you can say 2b is equal to, you can take like this is 16, b is equal to 8. Now, my dear friends, you can just apply b square is equal to a square into 1 minus e square for the ellipse. B square is known, a square we want, 1 minus e square is 16 by 113. You will get a value, my dear friends. Now, he is asking 113 into k, where k is the length of the lattice rectum of the ellipse. Length of the lattice rectum is 2b square by a, my dear friends. 2 into b square is 16, you can say, by a, my dear friends. A is going to, you are going to get a from this, and you will get the answer, right. Next, my dear friends, here it is simple, my dear friends, sin inverse x is given cos of, you can write this expression as cos inverse of root of 1 minus x square, right. Cos of cos inverse is, this becomes root of 1 minus x square. So, cot of tan inverse, you can write it as cot inverse of 1 by root of 1 minus x square. So, cot of cot inverse will be, this is finally you will get sin inverse of x by root of 1 minus x square here into cos of, it is going to be, is equal to k. So, cos of, my dear friends, sin inverse means like opposite side by hypotenuse. You can write hypotenuse is root of 1 minus x square, and this is hypotenuse minus x square, 1 minus 2x square you are going to get under root. Fine. This is going to be k, my dear friends, that is root of 1 minus 2x square by 1 minus x square is going to be k, my dear friends. You just want x value, 1 minus 2x square by 1 minus x square is k square. You can just apply componendo dividendo so that you will get x square value. So my dear friends, you can or cross multiply also you can. So 1 minus 2x square is k minus kx square. So you can say my dear friends, k minus 1 is equal to k minus 2 into x square. So k minus 1 by k minus 2 is going to be x square. X will have two roots my dear friends, plus or minus root of this, and he said that alpha, beta or the inverse trigonometric functions take only principal values if the solutions of this equation are, you see basically the solutions of this equation are alpha and beta. So one thing is clear, alpha, beta are like alpha minus alpha. So we can say, because one is plus or minus, so we can say another point for this particular quadratic equation either minus or plus, you just find beta, this is nothing but 1 by alpha square plus 1 by alpha square you can take, because beta is minus alpha, this is going to be one root, other root is alpha by beta is minus 1. So these are the two roots of this equation my dear friends. Since minus 1 is a root, you will get b value from this, because 1 minus b minus 5, and you can also find alpha value from this. Now he is asking us to find b by k square, b value is known, k square. Once you know here my dear friends, once you know from this equation alpha is a root for this and minus 1 is a root for this, you will get k value, you can substitute there. Okay. Next, the mean variance of 10 observations were calculated as 1525. This is a standard question friends. So old mean is 15 and new mean, see, and variance is also 15. So there are 10 observations, sigma xi is going to be 150, here sigma xi square by n minus average square is equal to 15, this is the variance. Now my dear friends, here by mistake 25 instead of 15, he took 25 instead of 15, actually he has to remove 50, he has to remove 25 and he has to add 15, right, that means 140 is the new total, therefore new mean is going to be 14. Now my dear friends, here also sigma xi square is going to be 225, 240, 2400. From this my dear friends, new sum is nothing but 2400 minus 25 square plus 15 square. So you just find this. So sigma xi square by 10 minus new mean 14 square gives the standard deviation. Of course, the variance under square root gives the correct standard deviation, right friends. Bit lengthy paper undoubtedly, but so you just try the questions. So the paper is undoubtedly comfortable, you can answer, right.